This is the Overdue Homework Podcast.
Welcome to the show. We're here to do our part. That's Trav, I'm Drew.
And I'm Trav.
This is the Overdue Homework Podcast. As always, we're here to talk about 80s and 90s media, and I always will and will forever want to encourage you to do the homework with us.
Do your homework, people.
Do your homework, people. And you can always email us at overduehomeworkpodcast@gmail.com. How you doing, Trav?
Trav, I'm speaking in third person. Drew, I'm doing pretty good today, actually. I'm pretty excited for this 25th episode.
Number 25.
Number 25.
Pause for sound effect.
And it's perfect because it's a suggestion from a listener, Jake from Triple Falls. So shout out Triple Falls, shout out Jake. Thank you for the awesome suggestion.
Yeah, thanks for engaging with our podcast as much as you have. It's much appreciated.
How are you doing, Drew?
I'm doing pretty good. I may sound a little goofy because I got the vid like a week ago and have continued to be sick since then. So
The vid?
yeah, so first time I've gotten it and all this, so I think I'm going to count myself pretty lucky.
Pretty lucky, for sure.
Fully vaccinated, so it wasn't that bad. No big deal. So if I sound goofy, that is why.
That is why.
Other than that, I'm doing really, really great. I know I mentioned this probably almost every show now, but we are going to be having a baby very, very soon.
Very, very soon.
Very soon. Very exciting, stressful, just exciting time in the Morehouse household, that's for sure.
The Morehouse house.
The Morehouse house. The Morehouse house. You know, we worked with a guy, I worked with a guy named, his last name was Rittenhouse, and whenever I would work next to him, he'd call us the apartment complex.
Nice.
I was like, good job, Brian. Shout out to Brian. I know you're not listening, but shout out to Brian.
But shout out for when you eventually listen and catch up.
Yep, that's right. When we become an international sensation and everybody listens to this podcast.
Dun, 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 dun.
Before we get started, I want to tell you about the articles I used in preparation for this podcast. I used an article by Phil Hode on theguardian.com, an article by Mike McGranahan on ranker.com, and an article by Eric B. Anderson on looper.com. So, of course, we are reviewing Starship Troopers today. And the release date for that movie was November 4th, 1997 was the premiere. Then November 7th, 1997 in the United States was the nationwide release. Directed by Paul Verhoeven, which he famously directed RoboCop and Total Recall also, which will be on the lists at some point, can guarantee that. Starship Troopers is based on a book, a novel by Robert A. Heinlein. Verhoeven hated the book. He only read 2 chapters. He was like, this thing's dumb and it's bad, so moving on.
Yep.
Of course, this movie is starring Casper Van Dien, and Casper Van Dien is one hot piece of man meat.
Yeah, he is. I was like, is that weird to mention that I think this is an attractive man? But we've done it before.
Yeah,
so,
no, he's an attractive man. Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg were considered for the role.
Nice.
Yeah, so it had been pretty early in Matt Damon's career. What year was Good Will Hunting? 96, 97, 98? Somewhere in there, right?
Somewhere in there. I was going to say 96, but it might be a 98. But yeah, you're on the right track for
Somewhere
sure.
in there. We got Dina Meyer, Denise Richards, Jake Busey, and that's the best Busey's ever son. Gary Busey's son, Jake Busey. Looks a lot like him. If you didn't know what Gary Busey looked like, look at Jake Busey.
Look at Jake.
NPH, as we like to call him, Neil Patrick Harris, Patrick Muldoon, another very attractive man.
Yes.
Michael Ironsides. The actors were specifically chosen for a comic book look.
Nice.
Verhoeven wanted blonde, white, and arrogant.
Perfect.
And of course, this movie is rated R, so this episode is going to be explicit.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Before we do get to that homework, can we talk a little Starship Troopers and get a bit of insight into the movie?
Let's do it.
All right. So I'm just going to go right for it. Why all the fascism in this movie? Like...
Well, I really don't know.
Like, really, it's steeped in fascism. It's a pretty cool story, actually. Verhoeven grew up in Nazi-occupied Holland. He was born in 1938. And so you could say that he probably had some strong ideas about fascism and Nazism in general, right? Mm-hmm. Verhoeven, when he got this book, like he said that he didn't actually read, he wanted to turn the source material of the same name into satire of itself. making the fascist elements so blatant that it becomes funny, based on how ridiculous their society is. So it's just a big lampoon on Nazis.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see you grew up hating Nazis, probably never not hating Nazis. I mean, you should hate Nazis.
You should.
So why not make fun of them, right?
Exactly.
To quote Verhoeven exactly here, he says, "So I decided to make a movie about fascists who aren't aware of their fascism." He borrowed from the films of Leni Riefenstahl to show that these soldiers were like something out of Nazi propaganda. And that's very, very evident from opening sequence. Right?
Yeah.
The opening recruitment video, you know how it kind of opens up with a recruitment video, is a direct copy of Riefenstein's movie Triumph of the Will. So, I mean, it's like a scene-for-scene direct copy of this Nazi propaganda film, right off the bat. And when the soldiers look at the camera and say, "I'm doing my part," that's also from the same movie. Verhoeven, he even put his actors basically in SS uniforms, but at the time, nobody really noticed.
Yeah.
Nobody really noticed,
Yeah.
right? You know, the marketing produced for Starship Troopers is a perfect example why no one noticed. The trailers focused on bug fighting action.
Mm-hmm.
It made the movie look way more like a big budget action picture. The same for the TV spots and the print advertisements. What was left out of the marketing was the satire of fascism.
Right. Smart move.
Yeah, TriStar thought that fascism would be a turnoff for most people.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it really is. So what the audience kind of thought they were going into was an R-rated Star Wars.
Right.
And this is definitely not an R-rated Star Wars.
No.
R-rated for sure, but not
R-rated
a Star
for
Wars. So did you ever, when you were watching this movie, think, why bugs? Why are they facing bugs?
Kind of.
I mean,
Yeah.
I never really gave thought to it, but I found some interesting information on why it was bugs.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Verhoeven decided that he decided on alien bugs because he thought that most people generally hated bugs.
I literally thought that. I was thinking that if anything, it's because everyone can get on board with hating bugs.
Yeah, I mean, it made the bugs a natural stand-in for opponents in conflict.
Right.
The point of war is to exterminate the other side, and the enemy is often dehumanized or viewed as totally bad. Not like totally bad, but like totally bad.
Right.
Like bugs needing to be squashed.
Like
so I mean,
bugs, you know?
it's plain and simple. It's pretty simple. So do you feel educated?
I do.
At least a little educated, right?
Right.
I feel like we're ready to get into the breakdown then, huh?
Let's do it.
All right, let's hit this up. All right, Starship Troopers. So in that opening sequence, we immediately get exposed to the federal network. Join now.
Join now.
I'm doing my part. Even children.
Even children.
And we find out that service guarantees citizenship. Would you like to know more? I love that bit. I love the like early internet. Like it is pretty accurately predicting how like YouTube's prediction or not prediction, like suggestion algorithm for what you want to watch next. Like that's a pretty that's a decent prediction.
Definitely.
Pop culture predicts the future. And that's what it feels like, at least, you know?
Yeah.
Would you like to know more? And we get the bug meteor. The bugs send another asteroid our way. This time we're ready. Planetary defenses are better than ever. Would you like to know more? Why we fight Clendathu, the source of the bug meteor. To ensure the safety of our solar system, Clendathu must be eliminated. They're clear across the galaxy.
Clear across the galaxy.
Clear across the galaxy. Clear across the galaxy. Like fascists. And then we immediately get to go to the live invasion of Clendathu. It's an ugly planet. It's a bug planet.
It's a bug planet.
The lines in this movie are just...
Yeah.
I love them. Every one of the lines in this movie, they're just so great.
Seriously.
Things seriously aren't going well, though.
No.
We get our first glimpses of many of the main characters, including our hero. Rico seems to be in some sort of pain after having his leg impaled. So.
Yeah, it looked like that might have hurt a little bit.
I would assume so. But then we get to flash to 1 year earlier. So all of this throughout the movie takes place in a year.
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like it takes place in like 3 weeks?
Oh, 100%.
It doesn't feel like it takes place in a year. Like,
No.
the time jumps are far too extreme and, like, not noticeable.
Right.
Like, whenever they'd go to that, like, federal network thing, it's like giving you a bridge between a large time gap. I wish that was more evident.
Right.
Because I was thinking at the end of the movie when they were all talking about how we're the old men now and stuff, I'm like, what has it been, 3 weeks? Like, but then I remembered that there's the flashback at the beginning of the movie that says 1 year earlier. So 1 year earlier.
Right. Still 1 year and we're the old men.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that goes to show the high turnover rate, you could say.
Yeah. There is definitely a high turnover rate.
In high school, with our actors that are obviously not high school aged.
Obviously not. Maybe past for college age.
Maybe. We get some weird stuff in this scene, like that digital flirting, whether he's drawing a picture of her, like an MS Paint picture.
And both times I watched it, it sounds and looks like he's actually scratching it onto the monitor. I thought, okay, the first time this is the rebel, he's scratching it, but then he just sends it digitally to her or whatever. Like, oh, okay.
She's just like,
and then makes the gum blow up in his face. She's like, what the hell, yo? Like, you're my girlfriend.
We also get the introduction of a one-armed teacher. Did you ever have a teacher with a one arm, missing fingers, or anything like that?
No.
I had a shop teacher, Mr. Corporal. He was missing a couple of fingers, and he was the shop teacher.
Makes sense.
He was a farmer for years, so if I remember right, I think he lost him farming, not in the shop or something, but still. But
it probably helped people be safe in shop class.
Probably did. We get to see the indoctrination of the population starts in school in this society, and that violence is basically the only answer to every one of life's problems.
Yeah,
you got to smash it and destroy it completely.
It's like there's two options: either you fight the bugs or you're a piece of crap.
It gives the audience a good taste of what a futuristic fascist culture would be all about, right?
Exactly.
Oh, man, that would be... The weirdest thing about it is, like we mentioned before, is they don't know that they're fascists because it's a total world government.
Right.
They don't know that what they are is like the antithesis of good.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't know that. They are the villain in this movie, almost.
Right.
Almost. We get teens being teens in the hallways, like making out. I don't really remember seeing that in high school, kids making out in the hall.
I certainly don't. There were certainly couples that would stand next to each other.
Hold hands.
Some definite hand holding. Yeah, I was going to say that. I feel like maybe you saw a peck here or two, but certainly no 100% French kissing, tongue down the throat.
No.
A second after the bell rings. So they literally took one step out of the room and just... And then Rico wants some too, but all he gets is one kiss. And she's like, not here. And he's like, damn it, but they're right there doing it.
They're making out. Come on. Public test scores. This would have given me anxiety beyond belief.
Oh,
it gave me anxiety watching a futuristic movie about publicized test scores.
Right. As we've mentioned, neither of us was straight A students with real homework.
No. Carmen, we get to see she's a pretty smart lady. She gets, 97%?
97 on her math score.
Pretty dang good.
Which is the main thing that matters to be a flight person.
She wants to join the Fleet Academy, so of course she did great, right? She's well-motivated.
Obviously.
Rico's turn. He's a dummy.
35%.
Which is so weird because when he's in that classroom, he gets portrayed as not being a dummy.
No,
because he gets
all.
asked the question, he answers it great, and Razchek is like, great job, but it's from the book.
Right.
He criticizes him.
Right, so he seems not necessarily the smartest, but he seems to know what needs to be done.
Yeah,
he doesn't put in any effort, but he's still intelligent, is what they portray it as.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe he's just bad at math.
I guess
35% is pretty bad.
I'm not
at math,
trying to be a part of the Fleet Academy anyway.
Enter Carl, and he puts that 35% up for everybody to see.
For everyone to see. What a jackass.
Whole school laughs at him. What a son of a bitch.
What a son of a bitch, Carl.
We get the love triangle that's introduced right away between Rico, Carmen, and Dizzy. This is one of two love triangles that are in the movie. We get alien biology with Blanche from the Golden Girls. Did you notice that? It's Blanche from the Golden Girls as the teacher.
Oh my gosh! Now I know as you're saying that, but I did not notice.
She was also deformed by the war, like their other teacher,
Yeah.
Mr. Razchek. I think I'm saying that right, Razchek.
Razchek.
We get a little bit of comedy with the gross out stuff, and we get Rico pulling all the guts out of the bug and stuff. And
Yeah.
Carmen throwing up. So I mean, I don't think the movie necessarily needed like the relief of a comedic scene right then and there, but. I mean, I guess, sure. It's pretty stereotypical, like, action movie, science fiction movie stuff where somebody gets grossed out by the alien and throws up.
And so are we just assuming bugs are already all over Buenos Aires in that size? Like, why are they dissecting bugs? Huge bugs.
Right. So I think that... like the bugs, they say that they send the asteroids out with their like spores on them to seed other worlds.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. The movie doesn't say that the Earth has been hit by a bug asteroid. I think it kind of implies saying our defenses are better, you know? So,
yeah.
So maybe some of those spores have gotten onto Earth and have taken hold, and like the creatures have developed, and they've been able to capture them, and now are like breeding them in captivity so they can do their crazy science.
That makes sense.
It's either that or they discovered these bugs, went to their planets, abducted them, brought them back to Earth to do experiments on them to find out how to kill them.
In high school.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of the two, and either one seems pretty plausible. I almost want to lean towards the more violent one because of it being a fascist society.
Right. That probably makes more sense.
They seeked them out. I don't know if that's right, but whatever. And brought them back to kill them. I mean,
I guess.
It is a reminder, though, that the arachnids are a threat to the United States. No, they are a threat to the world. The world. And even the teacher says maybe that the bugs are dumb by human standards, but they have millions of years of evolution behind them. So they're hinting at already the fact that the room is split on whether or not the bugs are actually intelligent.
Right.
It seems pretty obvious that they are intelligent, but whatever.
Yeah.
I guess any type of big type of thing like that in society is always split down the middle.
Yep.
Split down the middle.
Yep.
We get a little bit of Rico with Carl in Carl's basement, practicing telepathy. That's a better way to say it. Telepathy. Carl's already telepathic, but only with animals. Maybe it's a new stage of human evolution. Right?
Yeah.
I don't really understand why the whole telepathy. I'm not going to say it right ever. I don't understand why that whole thing is in this movie.
I don't either.
I really don't get it. I don't quite understand why it's in there. It's not in the book. It's not a thing in the book.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's not a thing in the book. So
is it literally just so for the end of the movie?
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not going to ruin that line yet. I wanted to, but I'm not going to ruin it yet.
Yeah, because it's literally only used in the beginning to prove Rico's not psychic. And then in one of those subliminal ads that's on throughout the movie, are you psychic, or do you feel like you're psychic?
Yep.
Maybe you are.
And then right at the end.
And then at the end.
Yep. So 3 times. So I guess it keeps the thread going throughout the movie.
Right.
But still, it didn't need to be in there.
It didn't need to be
pointless. It was pointless.
I mean, it makes me feel like Carl is smarter.
Yeah. I mean, Carl's obviously a super genius.
Obviously.
And it's interesting because Neil Patrick Harris, this is like, I remember this being his first big thing after Doogie Howser.
Oh, sure.
Doogie Howser was a big thing in my family. We watched it all the time. Him typing his diary on the blue screen on his PC, and saving lives as a tween doctor, you know. So that's what I remember from this. So, I mean, he was already portrayed as being a smart person, so I'm assuming that's one of the reasons why he may have been cast as this.
Right.
People already believe him to be a smart person. We do now get to move on over to the sports ball game.
Sports ball game.
They never name it.
No.
It's not football.
It's not football.
They don't use any football terminology.
No. And the ground is like wrestling mats, basically. Like it seems like hardwood, but then they can bounce off of it. And
yeah, Rico's got some ups.
Rico has got some serious ups. And yeah, they wear football pads and throw like the football you'd throw in your backyard with your friends as opposed to a leather football.
Yeah, like the one that glows in the dark.
It's way more violent.
Yes. They're not wearing face masks, and they are wearing hocky helmets, which is kind of helmets.
And yeah, you can hit the shit out of each other, and there's right away. I know it's the first 5 yards, but he just lays Rico the fuck out.
Just lays him out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, is that maybe like their physical training that they can be that super athletic? or like
guess.
selective breeding if it is a fascist society to breed like the best of the best out of everybody.
Right.
Because, I mean, that one cadet makes the comment that it's easier to have a kid if you become a citizen later on.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe that's part of it, but still, it's like superhuman acrobatics.
It's superhuman, yeah.
We get that second love triangle that I mentioned before, introduced between Carmen Rico and Xander.
Xander.
Quite possibly the worst name ever, Xander.
Yeah, Xander.
Sorry to all you Xanders out there. We get some funny lines, though, in this scene, too, like, lay off my girl.
Yeah.
All's fair in love and war. And then from Diz, are you drifting? And then, of course, Rico has the best line of the whole scene. Just throw me the ball, Diz.
Just throw me the ball, Diz.
Oh, man. I mean, those lines are so cheesy. It's great.
So cheesy.
So cheesy. They're great.
What are you doing after the dance? I mean, I'm not trying to say Xander's not also attractive, like you said, but Rico's the man, right?
Rico's the man.
And are you serious? I know she is a smoke show, but there's no way sweaty Xander stands up and she's questioning everything she's thought for Rico in that second. I'm just like, come on.
Exactly. And the whole time it's happening like during the game.
During the game.
And that referee's even like, come on, number
Come
12.
on, number 12, let's go. And then he doesn't get penalized, and then he knocks the shit out of Rico right after that.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But of course, Rico wins the game on a last-second play.
Obviously.
And the referee says, it's in there. It's over.
Yeah.
He didn't even say like touchdown or
No.
like goal or score or point. It's in there.
It's in there. It's over. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't give a very convincing performance, did he?
No, he did not.
The referee. We get to move over to Rico's house, and Rico's loaded.
Loaded up.
Loaded. And it doesn't seem like his parents are citizens.
Correct.
It doesn't. So that seems odd to me that you can be ultra wealthy and not a citizen.
Yeah.
You'd think that
They would have to be like, born into it, or like you said, bred for that.
Yeah. So I mean, even if they were born into citizenship, let's say they are citizens, like they made their citizenship, they're ultra wealthy. They can't grease a few palms and just make Rico a citizen.
Yeah. Exactly.
You'd think, right?
Right.
If
they don't want him to be. So.
No, they don't want him to go into service, at least. Like,
Right. I
so
suppose that's the main thing.
It seems like they're not citizens by doing that, right?
That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me. But
The only successful civilian.
I guess, right? Rico is getting ready for future prom. Rico's dad confronts Rico on that he wants to join up for federal service, and his dad says, I'd rather take 10 lashes in public square, because that's a real thing in this society.
Foreshadowing.
That's a real thing. Yeah, but it's just a term of service. I want to be a citizen. I want to follow Carmen.
I was going to say, I want to follow Carmen.
You're going to Harvard, and that's final. Oh, man, tough.
Yeah.
You're going to Harvard.
Shucks.
Then, of course, he does the patented troubled teen. It's my choice.
It's my choice. And Carmen is hot.
Carmen is hot. It's pretty hot, Denise Richards.
Obviously.
Like, very attractive woman.
Yes.
Rico's parents tried to bribe him, though, with a trip to Zegama Beach, which is across the galaxy.
Across the galaxy, and he's always wanted to go there.
They're like,
nah.
It seems like it worked. You know, it
Yeah,
does, because
right.
the mom's like, oh, I guess it's settled then.
Yeah.
Ching, because she's drinking.
Yeah.
What a weird society. Finally, though, we get to go to future prom.
Future prom.
Future prom. You know, the band, I'm really surprised that it wasn't some, like, famous band from, like, 1997.
I am, too.
Like Smash Mouth or Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
Something like that. They could have pulled one of those guys, right?
Right.
Something like that.
No, they're civilians.
They're civilians.
No.
That's the problem.
Yeah, damn.
For me, like, future music in these sci-fi movies, it never really works for the long term. Like, you'll look back on it in this movie that is almost 30 years old at this point.
Right.
And you're like, that sounds like music that would have been in 1997.
Exactly,
Doesn't
yeah.
sound like future music.
Right.
Sounds like 1997 music. I still did like the song, though.
Yeah.
So the second song, not the first one they were singing, but the second one, it's I Have Not Been to Paradise, and it's actually a cover of a David Bowie song from 1995 called
Nice.
I Have Not Been to Oxford Town.
Nice.
So that's kind of interesting, and it's Zoe Peldoris is the singer, and she's the daughter of Basil Peldoris, who wrote the movie score. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, musical family and a little bit of like, hey, I'll do this a score for you, but my daughter's got to be in the movie. I'm assuming he's Italian. I mean, that sounds Italian, right?
He's got it.
Italian or Greek. So I'm sorry, all you Italians out there that I probably offended. We get a little bit more of that love triangle action. Dizzy's laying it on pretty thick. Rico finds his teacher and looking for advice on federal service, and Rico finds Carmen and Xander soon after that.
Yep.
Which basically the advice that Raschek gave him was like, you got to do it if you want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
like,
basically
this
it.
is one of the only choices you get in life.
Yeah, exactly. Johnny, this is Xander in a military uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know each other.
Yeah, we know each other.
From the game. You were there too, Carmen.
Yeah, I know.
You were there too.
You were there too. You know how the game was stopped because you were talking to number 12, and then I said, stay away from you, and he knocked me on my ass? Yeah, I was there for that. I was there for that. But thanks. Yeah, nice to meet you, asshole. Like,
Come on, Carmen.
Come on, Carmen. 97% in math with no common sense.
I do like the line where is it? Yes, it's Xander that says to Rico, "No hard feelings," and then Rico says, "No, none at all. We won."
We won.
What like a brosif thing to say.
It's such a brosif thing to say.
And then Rico tells Carmen it's the last song. He wants to get out there for a dance. And then on the dance floor, we get some more love triangle building. No one cares.
No.
Rico tells Carmen that he's signing up, and a sultry invite from Carmen to Rico. My dad's not home. Oh, my dad's not home.
You know what that means.
I never got that in high school. They really glance over that really quickly, too. Like,
yeah.
They never even go back to the fact. Because Carl, when they're checking out the scores, asks Johnny if he's banged her yet.
Yeah.
And he's like, nope. And he's like, oh, you haven't yet, huh? You haven't yet, huh?
Yeah.
Making fun of him for it because whatever. And then it seems like they're going to have sex, but they never go back to it, and him being like, I finally banged her, Carl.
Right.
You know, it seems like something that should have been in the movie, but I guess it would have been slightly in poor taste if they're like supposed to be 18-year-old kids.
I suppose.
I guess. So, I don't know. Forget that. Forget all of that.
Forget it all.
It's time to sign up now, though, for military service and fresh meat for the grinder.
Yep.
Carmen's going to be a pilot. Carl's going for games in theory, which I think is a really cool name for like an intelligence division of the military.
Definitely.
That's a really cool name for it. Games in theory.
Games in theory.
Enrico, infantry, sir.
Infantry, sir.
Good for you. The mobile infantry made me the man I am today, missing 3 out of his 4 limbs.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yikes. Not a good start for Rico because it's like, gulp.
Yeah. And the only reason I joined was to chase a girl. I wish I could go back in time. That should have been in the movie.
That should have been in the movie and played as like a true comedy at that point. That would have been great. With all 3 of them, Carl, Carmen, and Rico signed up, they vow to always be friends, even though they will be millions of light years apart, and this will probably be the last time that they ever see each other.
Nope.
Nope.
I mean, yeah.
We get to go back home with the Ricos. Rico Suave. Remember that song, man? I just heard that on the radio the other day, and I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, this is still a thing that can get played on the radio, huh? That's impressive. I'll take it, though, I guess. Johnny breaks the news that he actually signed up, and Dad ain't having it. Mom just doesn't understand. Right, Will Smith?
Right.
You'll resign. That's all there is to it. And then he says he won't quit. Johnny, why don't you just change your mind? Does citizenship mean that much to you? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, she does. I mean, yeah, sure.
Not very convincing.
No, not at all.
Mom throws Carmen under the bus at this point, though. Don't throw your life away because chasing a girl that wants to look good in a uniform.
You don't even know her, Mom.
Johnny out.
Johnny out.
He does get cut off, though, forever now from Dad, apparently.
Yeah,
so
forever.
You're cut off.
You're cut off.
You cut off, Johnny. You cut off.
Until the next time you call us.
And then it's going to be all good.
Then we're all good. Just come back home, Johnny.
Just come back home. All right, at this point now, it's time for us to ship out from the spaceport. Like, that's what it'd be. It's not an airport, right? It's not a train station. It's a spaceport. Spaceport.
Spaceport.
Johnny meets Carmen. even though they were never going to see each other again.
Correct.
Immediately. That was like a scene ago. Carl did already leave, but still, like, we're never going to see each other again.
Yeah.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny. Still here, huh?
Johnny does let Carmen know that he got kicked out of the house. I'm wearing everything I own. And she's like, gee, I'm sorry that it didn't work out for you. Like, she doesn't seem to care at all.
No, not at all.
I'm real sorry, Johnny.
Yeah.
The Federation will provide me with everything I need for the next 2 years, right? Yeah, they should, I guess. I mean, that's not a great attitude to have about just alienating your whole family, but do what you got to do, man.
Yeah.
For a girl.
Right.
Finally, the last moments before they're about to be separated, where Carmen's going to go on that shuttle, he says, I love you, Carmen. Crickets. Yeah, I like you too, pal. She should have said something.
Thank
like
you.
That. She does say it, but not before Johnny, like, basically guilts her into it.
Yeah.
Why don't you try it on?
Just try it for once. God.
I love you too, Johnny.
I love you too, Johnny. For a little bit.
That is not a good way to leave your relationship.
No, not at all.
I bet you. Do you think he had those first inklings of like, oh man, what did I sign up for? This is not. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that and seemingly they finally had sex, and now she's kind of uninterested.
Yeah. What is it? What is it called? Bang 'em. What is it? Something and leave 'em. What is it? What's the saying? Yeah, something and leave 'em. Yeah,
something and leave 'em.
Something and leave 'em. Email us.
Email us. It's probably better that Drew and I don't know that.
Yeah, I guess. Sorry for doing that into the microphone. I apologize. I did that into the microphone, too. That's not good either. So with their last meeting coming to the end, she does say, don't forget to write. Like, she even cares.
Yeah.
Don't forget to write.
Don't forget to write.
It is interesting that they do reference their video messaging as writing to each other.
Yeah.
Because wouldn't you think that they would say, like, don't forget to video me or vid me or have some other slang term for it?
Nope, don't forget to write me.
Yeah. And he says, I won't. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I love these Federal Network pieces. I said that already, but I love them.
They're so good.
They're so good. That's a fully automatic Merita. Who wants to hold it?
Dude, children after children.
Your child, take it.
Take it. And then passing out the bullets like candy. It just ching, 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 ching.
It's like the best propaganda ever.
Ever.
It really is. People making a better tomorrow. Then we get the top news. A murderer is convicted. Sentenced to death. Tonight at 6.
Tonight.
On all net channels. It's on every channel.
It's on every channel.
So this dude was arrested, tried, and convicted, and executed in the same day.
In the same day.
They say he was arrested today, convicted, and his execution is tonight.
At 6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock on all channels.
No fucking around.
No fucking around. The dude was even just like, oh my God.
Want to watch something else? Too bad. It's on all channels at 6 p.m.
Would you like to know more? Apparently not, because it switched to the federal tab like really quickly. Like
really quickly.
The mouse cursor was like click, 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 click,
click, click. And what if I said no? It doesn't matter.
And this is that Are You Psychic bit. That dude had a very like paranormal TV show from the History Channel look, right?
100%. Yeah.
Like ancient aliens, something around. That's what it looked like to me. It was great. I really liked that. And would you like to know more? Nope. Time for the Galaxy tab. Every school kid knows that arachnids are dangerous, especially to cows.
Yeah. Censored.
And do you think that I wish there was a version where that was not censored?
Agreed.
And I think the only reason that that stuff is even censored in those videos is because it's presented as if you're watching it on the internet.
Right.
Where the gore that we see in the movie
is way worse probably than what they're even showing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I would have preferred to have seen it, I think, in the context of this movie.
Right.
The censoring bars just seemed kind of weird to me. I get why they were there. It puts an aesthetic on it. It is like censored material from the government, reinforcing that fascist control on all media and stuff like that. But I would have preferred to have seen the cow get eviscerated.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we get to see, however, Mormons ignored federal warning and established Fort Joe Smith deep in the arachnid quarantine zone. It did not go well for those Mormons.
No, it did not.
Very gruesome. Would you like to know more? Exit, 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 exit. Finally, we get to go to basic training, and it's pretty standard movie stuff when it opens up the basic training, right?
Yeah.
You've seen this scene a million times. If it's been a military movie, whether it's Stripes or Full Metal Jacket, this scene is in that.
Yeah.
Everybody's standing at attention, sucking that gut, legs together, and the "do you think this is funny" bit. That's just so played out.
Obviously.
It makes it funny in this movie.
Yeah.
It works in this movie. It's funny in this movie. I like it. It's played out, but I like it.
And his name is Zim or Zim?
Zim.
Zim.
Z-I-M.
So I've seen him in multiple things.
Yes.
I just started watching The Punisher, and
Yep.
he's in that as a soldier of some sort of high rank. And then he was the main enemy in the newest Dexter, New Blood.
Oh, cool.
In that whole season. So I'm wondering, is he also in other movies where he's like in the army or some sort of sergeant? Is this something he's just done for a long time? Because
he's in a lot of stuff. I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head. He was also in Lost. He's been in a ton of stuff, and he's also
in Lost.
Yes.
I just started that with
Ooh,
Lauren, and I've never seen Lost.
Not until the
way towards the end.
fourth season. Have you gotten into the Hatch yet?
No.
Okay.
I just started it yesterday.
Oh, so what episodes have you seen?
First 3 episodes.
So you've gotten to the island.
We're at the island.
You're on the island,
Yep.
and John Locke is walking around.
Yes.
John Locke is walking around. Smoke monster?
Nope. There's
Not
something
yet.
and they don't know what it is.
In the woods because they're still on the beach in the jungle.
Yep.
Lost.
It's good. I'm hooked already.
You're making me want to watch it again. I want to know. I'm going to say this to you right now, and I want to know what you think of it, and hopefully it doesn't ruin the show for you. It doesn't give away the story at all.
Sure.
Stare faces. How everybody stares at each other all the time. And it like flashes from person to person, and they're just staring. Stare faces. But no, he's also the voice of Mr. Krabs.
No way.
100%?
Holy cow.
Isn't that interesting?
That's super awesome.
Yeah,
and I can 100% tell now that you say that.
He's the voice of Mr. Krabs.
Oh,
He's been in a ton of stuff.
But I like him a lot. That's the whole moral of what I was trying to say. I think he's a really good actor.
Yes, he's a really good character actor, and he's gotten to be older, and obviously the Mr. Krabs money, SpongeBob money probably makes it so
I would assume.
He doesn't have to work any job ever anymore again, period.
Yeah.
So it's too bad we don't see him in movies like this still.
Right.
Because I also enjoy him as a character actor. I'm sorry I don't know your name, dude. I feel like I'm doing you a travesty.
Yeah.
A disservice.
Email us.
Email us. Sergeant Zim also makes it very evident that you can leave whenever you want, which is an interesting dynamic, right? Just sign a 1240A and walk right out that door. Take a trip down Washout Lane. I would have taken a trip down Washout Lane immediately.
Yeah.
Been like, I'm out. See you.
Oh, that's an option? All right. See you later.
Bye. Sergeant Zim then poses the question, who thinks they can take me out? Which is another, like, army trope thing that happens in a lot of movies.
Right.
The singular cadet, we later learn his name is Breckenridge, but he goes, sir, I guess maybe I do, sir. Thanks, Breckenridge.
He fucks his world up.
He really does. Once again, we should have been able to see the bone coming out of his arm.
Yeah. Of all the things they show, you can't show that.
Can't show that.
That seems weird.
I mean, maybe with the amount of violence later in the movie, they're like getting that line of NC-17 rating. But I mean, the gore isn't even that like too crazy.
No.
It's not like super bloody either.
No.
So I don't know. Standards might have been slightly different. So we just finished The Boys, and The Boys is crazy more gory than this movie 100 times over.
1,000,000 times over.
And that's on Amazon. So if this was made today, it could be way more up to that.
Right. That's true.
Which the final season, I'm betting next season 4 is going to be the final season
of The Boys.
Yeah, I bet it is. Especially with that deadline that was put on Butcher, unless they can figure something out with it.
Right, because he's the show.
Yeah, because he's the show.
I mean, they're all awesome, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm glad that Starlight joined them. Spoiler alert, sorry, but I'm glad that happened.
Watch The Boys if you haven't.
Yeah, it's really good. His arm is easily broken. It wasn't even a thing. Just snap
in 2 seconds.
It's hilarious. I think I broke my arm.
And then what does he basically tell him? Like, you're a pussy. You get over pain, or you get over the pain, or
pain is in your mind, or something.
Pain is in your mind. No, it's right here. My arm is snapped in half.
It's not feeling very good, Sergeant
Medic.
But guess who shows up? Dizzy.
Dizzy.
Because Dizzy's following the boy that's following a girl.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. More love triangle stuff. Nobody cares. She made a transfer from Fort Cronkite, which I think is a funny name, like interesting to name it after the newsman, Roger Cronkite. Roger Cronkite?
Walter
Cronkite. Thank you. That's embarrassing. And she transferred because this is the unit that Rico's in is supposed to be the best unit.
Right.
Rico's there, and they make some quick eye contact, and he is not looking too pleased to see her.
He is not.
But she does have to prove herself immediately to Sergeant Zim. She does get a couple of good shots in.
Yeah.
Give her props on that. Punches him right in the face. He looks a little stunned by it. It's like, oh, good shot. And then choke out.
Yeah, then I thought he might kill her. I don't know, with how the movie was going so far. I was thinking, whoa.
And then even Rico did the half eye close and half smirk, yeah, I'm into this.
Bitch.
I'm into this.
Yeah. That's what you get for following me.
And then those two women are like, ooh, that's the kind of gal that makes squad leader.
Yeah. That's my job, Busey sis.
Oh, Busey. There's an SNL skit. I can't remember. It was like a single season guy that was on SNL. I can't remember his name. I can picture him in my head. But he did this skit where it was a bunch of celebrities trapped in an elevator, and he's Gary Busey. One of them farts. They all start accusing Busey of doing it, and he says, "It wasn't me. You'll know when a juicy Busey hits you right between the eyes." That's what I think of when I think of Gary Busey every time. A juicy Busey.
A juicy Busey.
But now it's chow time in the chow tent, whatever, the mess hall tent.
Whatever it is.
I'm not a military man.
Yeah.
Ace and Rico are now friends because he butts in line and is like, I guess I can be your friend because I think you're cool, right? And I'm cool. Yeah, we're friends now.
That's how it works. So,
you're a
dude.
douche.
You're a douche.
Rico confronts Diz, and we get confirmation that she's there because of Johnny. I joined the infantry to get out of town, and I had to do my own thing, and you had to tag along. What, you think I joined the mobile infantry because of you? You saying you didn't?
Yeah.
No answer. So she did.
So she did.
We get a little bit more comedy with the training that they're doing. Dizzy kicks Ace and Rico into the mud. Ace gets that knife in the hand. This is all meant to be comedy. You know?
Yeah.
If you disable the hand, it can't push the button.
Yeah.
That's some weird logic, but
Weird
whatever.
Logic.
The knife deal is kind of weird. It does come back later in the movie that a knife becomes pivotal.
Right.
But it seems like a completely unnecessary piece of equipment to carry with you to fight bugs. Giant bugs.
It does.
But it does come into play later.
Yeah.
It didn't get the 3 things, though. It's only that one in the end. So a third one may have been good to give it the same thing as the other one there. We get a little TNA segment next, which, that's this is the first movie with nudity that we've done.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Some good old classic 90s nudity.
And I didn't even know there would be any because the first time I watched this, I watched it on YouTube TV. It was just on there on BBC, rated R.
Yeah.
But then I bought it because I liked this movie so much. And I was like, wow, I did not know there was going to be boobies and butts in the shower scene. And I could tell that some stuff was changed on that TV version because there would be some god dangs and stuff instead of it. But most of the blood and everything was the same. So I think it was just a washed out shower scene and then, not as many curse words.
That's interesting. It goes to show you how weird television editing can be. You can show that extreme violence, but you can't see some butts.
Right. Yeah.
You can't have a couple of swear words.
I know.
The violence seems way more detrimental than the words and the nudity. To me. But that's what
But
it
yeah,
is.
this is a scene I was not expecting.
Well, it goes to show that equality has come a long way in the future.
Right.
Co-ed showers.
Yeah, co-ed showers.
Thing. We get some boobs, butts, but no nuts.
Boobs, butts, and no nuts.
So, interestingly enough, with the scene, the director of photography, Josh Vacano, and Paul Verhoeven, the director, also both got nude to do this scene with the rest of the people.
Really?
To basically convince them to do it, because they're having a hard time getting them to do it. Because
Obviously.
apparently Verhoeven, all of a sudden, a day before filming, was like, hey, we're doing this nude scene.
You're all in it.
You're all in it.
You're all in it. You're all wet.
Yeah, and everybody's going to be nude.
Everyone's going to be nude.
Everybody's going to be nude. Denise Richards refused to do it. That's why she's not in that scene.
Oh,
she refused to do it. So, interestingly enough.
What if she even been there?
Apparently, she was supposed to be in the scene. I read an article, and she quoted that she refused to do the nude scene. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I don't know. She said that she wanted to do the boot camp scenes with the rest of the crew, even though she was at the Fleet Academy.
Oh, okay.
And I think because she wouldn't do the nude scene, then she wasn't able to do the other scenes.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I do what you got to do. I'm not faulting her for not wanting to do a nude scene. So, but it's interesting. She was supposed to be in it, but she didn't want to do it. So, get it, you know?
One thing I find funny in that scene is no women make fun of any peepees.
No, they don't. Not a
That's
single
just
peepee.
surprising. So, yeah, that kind of proves your equality thing like that. They're just like, boobs are out and no one's making fun of peepees?
No.
Like, okay.
You know, I can't believe there wasn't one, like, side dong shot in the back, right?
I know, yeah.
I was like, do you see Busey's dong? No
No.
Busey dong. No wieners.
Is that a little dong? No.
Just some boobs and
Just
some butts.
boobs and butts.
Boobs and butts. It is interesting, though, because the scene is kind of used to give our characters some depth, because we find out their motivations for actually joining up and doing federal service.
Right.
Yeah, it's everything from education, politics, to having a baby, and just being a citizen.
Yeah.
Because it's a big benefit, it seems like, in their culture. So it is kind of like, it wasn't just nudity for nudity's sake. You still get some information from the story and some depth from the characters.
Yeah.
Paul Verhoeven also directed Showgirls.
Okay.
So he's not afraid, and he's Dutch, you know, European, so nudity's a big thing in probably all his movies.
Right.
You know, that's just the way the Dutch do it. The Dutch.
The Dutch.
Do you think he's a big Gold member fan?
Probably.
Do you think he loves gold? He might.
This is a keeper.
This is a keeper.
Save me from myself.
My God, that is some of the grossest stuff ever.
Yeah,
when he
when
opens up that little
skin box.
Salty. Ah, boy. But now we get to go in space with Carmen. And I love these space scenes.
100%.
They look so good to me. And I'm pretty sure they're like mostly practical effects, like models and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's honestly, for 97, it looks really good.
It all holds up.
Really good.
It all holds up. And maybe because we're more used to that aesthetic of Star Trek and Star Wars that was done like that and not just complete CGI movies.
Right.
But I think it looks just as good, if not more, and more believable than what you'd get from a complete CGI type of render.
100%.
I absolutely love the way it looks.
Yeah, there's none of the space stuff that's like, oh, that looks kind of old or outdated.
Right.
It works.
It works. It looks good. It opens up with Carmen watching a video message from Rico and all the craziness going on behind him, and then we hear Orbit in 5, Ibanez, is that it?
Yeah.
Ibanez?
Yeah.
I've heard it a bunch of times, and every time I say it, I'm like, you sound like you're white and from the Midwest.
Yeah. Carmen.
And she says, first one there gets to fly, and of course Carmen wins because she's ultra competitive. Carmen already has a reputation as a crazy pilot at this point, which, you know, seems, I guess, fitting to her character. She's very well, you know, she's very motivated. This whole sequence, I already mentioned Star Trek, felt a lot like Star Trek Next Generation to me. The way it looked, the way the spaceships moved, the way everything sounded. Just a lot of that stuff gave me hardcore Star Trek vibes the whole time, which I appreciate. Carmen is rising up the ranks and piloting the big stuff at this point, and Xander's there, and he is her instructor.
Yeah.
He made sure that they ran into each other. Not creepy at all.
Not creepy at all. Yeah, proves she's clearly interested in some way, shape, or form to not call him out on the creepiness.
That's true. That is true. Right?
Yeah.
I guess. That is very true. They never do really make that connection either. There's a couple of close calls, but they should have had a smooch.
Some sort of smooch.
They should have had a smooch.
How are you going to leave Rico and not at least smooch the other guy?
She was career-driven. Carmen, we find out, is a real hot shot when she's leaving that port with that last second umbilical disconnection and then the 5 meters from object.
Yeah.
Like, cutting it pretty close there,
I know.
Carmen.
I don't know if I did not say this. Maybe I said it in the last episode of the podcast, but I had not seen this movie.
Yes.
So I thought she was going to crash into that thing 100%. I'm like, 5 meters? There is no way you save this. And then it goes down to 3 or 2 meters.
Yes, it goes down even
but
lower.
No, she makes it just perfectly.
Man, that's some close
That's
tolerances.
just to, like, show...
She's the best of the best.
She's the best of the best. But why did she put herself in that situation?
She's just a trainee, and I think if it was a real-world situation, they probably would have yanked the controls from her and told her to leave the bridge.
Yeah. I mean, what does that prove? Like, you're proving you can do that, but are you leaving, 3 seconds faster than just backing up normally and turning? I don't know. I don't understand.
I don't either. The only thing that I can even suggest is that she's trying to show her chops.
Basically.
That's it.
Yeah. And it doesn't even like go over that well because he's like, don't do that again and keep it at whatever speed. And she says, why? And he says, they'll revoke your license and mine. And then she's like, oh, your fate's in my hands. Double eyebrow. Oh, okay.
Oh boy, like seriously, that was like, seriously though. We get to see that star drive. It's the only time in the movie we see the star drive, right? Yep. And I like the cool, ready, steady, go.
Ready, steady, go.
I thought that was pretty cool. It's the only time you get to see the star drive. I wish we would have been able to see what it was like in a slipstream or whatever that they were traveling through, and maybe gotten an actual sense of how long it takes them to get to their location, like giving it a 10-second just in the slipstream, bam, we're across the galaxy.
Right.
Instead of not knowing how long it actually takes them to get there.
Agreed.
We're back at basic now. So Rico's still in basic training, and Carmen is piloting starships across the galaxy.
Yeah.
Where did the training, she's not been training any longer than he has, right?
Correct. This is happening in a year.
Yes.
And at this point, we got to assume this point, we aren't much further than 3 weeks, like you said. The whole thing feels like.
Yeah, he's still in basic.
So she is just progressing rapidly up the ranks somehow. And okay.
No one can explain it.
Nobody can explain it.
So the movie can happen. We do find out that Rico's got all the moves, though, and this sequence is hilariously bad, right? When they're in the shootout,
Yeah.
And nobody stays behind any type of barrier whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're all just standing in a line shooting at each other.
I know.
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah.
I just don't get it at all.
Whenever Rico needs to kick ass, he kicks ass.
Yep.
Doesn't make any sense.
And on top of that, they're all shooting from the hip. Nobody ever looks down the sight of their gun.
Nope.
They're all just wildly firing from their hip.
And he's just massively amazing at this somehow.
Yes.
They're just doesn't make any sense. And it is funny to do the football play.
Sport ball.
Or sport ball. Sorry, sport ball play. When he does this 360 flip over them, he's just right in front of 3 guys. Not one of them decides to shoot. They're just like, whoa.
Oh my God.
That's the kind of thing that makes you squad leader.
Diz actually calls it a flip 6 3-hole. Sounds dirty.
Yeah. It was like the name of that play she called.
Yes.
Yeah.
The flip 6 3-hole. Pardon me?
Pardon me?
Super cheesy, but charming. And hilarious. And maybe not. This might be an instance where it was not originally meant to be played as a laugh.
Yeah.
But now in the context of the movie and how we know it now, it is funny.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be ridiculous. It's supposed to be giving you those nostalgic feels for other military training stuff in other movies.
Right.
It's supposed to be doing that stuff. Well, it was enough to impress Zim, Sergeant Zim. He gave him a squad. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah.
In the barracks now, Diz and Rico are friends. I couldn't have done it without you, friends. And she's like, I guess.
Whatever.
Rico gets some mail, and it's a breakup video.
Yeah. Just what he wanted to see.
Carmen's going to go career. She has to follow her heart, which is not with Rico.
Rough.
Yeah.
And everybody's watching.
Everybody was gathering around, but then you can see their faces. They're like, ooh, all right, we'll just slowly back out of here.
Whoops.
Yeah, and then Ace tries to, kind of console him a little bit. They always want to be friends after they rip your guts out, don't they? He's like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Rico's just like, I don't care.
He's like, dude, you've never been with anyone like Carmen. Let's get real.
Let's get real.
This sucks.
This sucks. Now we get to move on to that infamous live ammunition exercise. Max score has been 280. I expect you to do better. Things don't go well.
Yeah.
Breckenridge just takes one to the dome. It was a very weird, very weird thing, because you would think that the number one thing in your training when you're in the field, probably for a military person, is to never take your helmet off, no matter what.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Never.
Ever. And the targets they're shooting are not firing back, correct? They're just trying to kill as many targets as they can.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he gets called out for having no training to fix the situation, but to tell him to take his helmet off and not tell your other people to cease fire or something, They're just all worried about this score.
Right, and the woman that does shoot him, which that's a pretty graphic scene.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume that that's probably pretty close to what it looks like to watch somebody get shot in the face.
Yeah.
Like, I watched this movie 4 times, and every time I was like, that's depressing.
Yikes.
It just seemed ultra realistic to me. But the woman that did shoot him, she did wash out also, but it seemed like she faced no consequences.
Yeah.
How do you fall over and pull the trigger on your gun like that? Like, it seems odd.
And like you said, she's kind of like scot-free, and
right.
Rico's the one who gets in trouble.
Right, yeah. Yes, he does.
But yeah, again, not having seen this movie, I thought 100% he's going to dominate the score of 280. And then, nope. It takes about 5 seconds and someone gets their head blown off. Okay. Another didn't see that coming with this movie.
No, I do have to say that the gore in this movie does kind of gradually step up to that first battle in Clandathu.
It does. I mean, they like tease you with the battle later, but yeah, like to start it off, but it definitely does build up.
It does. It's pretty interesting. It's a good call by Verhoeven, I think. I like that a lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
Rico did get relieved of command, like we said, and his punishment for being responsible for Breckenridge's death is administrative punishment, or 10 lashes.
10 lashes.
That's a pretty gruesome scene. Like, that looked ultra painful. It looked very realistic, and I'm glad we didn't have to sit through all 10 lashes.
Yep.
I kind of assumed that we were going to have to sit through all 10 lashes. I did like how they used it as a unique transition from wiping from Rico getting whipped to the starship with Carmen and Xander. Like, it was a unique and interesting transition that was a cool part of the movie, and it's about the only thing you could do with that scene. I mean, you can sit there through all 10 lashes and just fade to black and go to another scene or try to transition out of it, and I think transitioning out of it was a good idea.
Right. This is what happens at the Fleet Academy, as opposed to
not getting whipped.
Yeah, but yeah, with Spartacus being my favorite show, I've seen that before.
Yes. So it's third watch on the ship with Carmen and Xander, and Carmen improves on Xander's course navigation. Xander is a little bit dismissive of Carmen. Do you really think you can lick my navs? That is quite the line, isn't it? Quite the line. Sure enough, though, she does lick his navs.
Yep.
Xander was talking with Captain Deladier. I think that's how he says it. It's kind of an interesting spelling. I watched the movie with subtitles on so I can get the spellings of these names.
Sure.
Deladier. She thinks that Xander and Carmen should team up and crew for her as captain. And he says, "We're good together. I can anticipate you. You know what I want?" And she says, "No. What do you want?" Quickly, we get the gravity field in space that fucks up the potential bang time, because that seems like that was going to be the moment.
Definitely.
It's an asteroid headed for Earth, and their ship just barely misses being taken out by it. They do end up losing all communications for it, so they can't contact the rest of the fleet. So here goes this asteroid towards Earth. They do say that their hull is failing and that they're lucky to be alive, and the captain says, "No, we're lucky we have such a good flight crew." And I was wondering, like, could they have jumped into their warp state or whatever you want to call it and made it back to Earth before the asteroid got there to warn everybody?
Right.
Or do you think the ship was too compromised to be able to do something like that?
I'm guessing we have to assume that it was too compromised to do something like that.
I would guess so too. Next, we get to see that Rico's packing his bags, and Dizzy's trying to convince him to stay. And we find out that his call has just gone through to his parents, and he tells them that it's just not working out, and he wants to come home. The communication was interrupted, though. It looks like rain.
At this time of year?
And then Rico's just like, "Well, okay, see you later, I guess. I'm just going to head on out." And then we get the tragedy in Buenos Aires.
Yeah. What's going on? We're at war.
Millions dead. Nothing lives in what was once called the Latin paradise. "Oh, Johnny, that's us. That's home."
That's home.
And the look on his face, he's just like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I know, Diz. I'm watching this too."
Yeah. God damn it, Diz. Why are you always here?
Shut the fuck up and leave me alone.
Shut the fuck up.
The Federal Council voted moments ago and voted unanimously for mobilization to destroy the arachnid threat. And Zim wants...
Obviously.
Obviously. And what else would this culture do besides go and
Yeah.
try to destroy it?
Yeah.
I mean, we found out at the beginning of the movie that violence solves everything. So,
Exactly.
Duh. Zim wants to join the effort, but he's going to have to bust himself down to private if he wants to go fight the bugs.
Yeah. Sir.
Johnny wants to reconsider dropping out, but he already signed the 1240A.
There's nothing I can do. It's out of my hands.
Zim does tear it up. He asks him, "Is this your signature private?" And Johnny says, "Yes, sir, it is." Like, what an idiot. Like,
Yeah.
don't you get what's going on right
Yeah.
now?
No, sir.
Well, he does say then, like, okay, doesn't look like it to me.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
tear it up.
Yeah, I tried to give you an out, but sure, I guess I'll just tear it up.
Carry on, private.
Carry on, private.
Yes, sir, I'm dumb.
Yes, sir, I'm done. It feels so good.
We get more propaganda from the federal network. War. Like, that just would have been on, like, that made me think of, like, 1940s newspapers for World War II, right?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
war. The only good bug is a dead bug.
Dead bug.
That guy was ugly. That said that line.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
he
dang,
was.
dude, you're ugly. We must ensure human civilization, not insect, dominates this galaxy now and forever. Sky Marshal Denny's, I think it's Denny's. No, that's the restaurant. Denny's. The Sky Marshal announces plans for an offensive against Clendathu. Would you like to know more? Know your foe. Every day, federal scientists look for new ways to kill bugs. Hey, Carl, welcome back.
Hey, Carl.
The arachnids are dumb but robust. Aim for the nerve stem to put them down for good.
This is a cool scene.
Yes,
just
very
'cause,
cool.
I mean, MPH is awesome, but you don't see him as the badass with the gun. So the fact that he comes in, he's just like, shoot one of the limbs. That's 87% effective. And he's like, if not, go for the nerve down. Just wipes it in 2 seconds. You're like, all right.
You can tell, like, he seems like he's a much different person than the beginning.
Already, yeah.
He's so, like, dead-eyed for
Yeah.
the rest of the movie. He's just, like, serious. Like, I have to kill everything, and I don't care what stands in my way because we're going to kill it.
And I'm one of the 2 psychic people.
I'm going to kill them with my brain. Would you like to know more?
Would you like to know more?
Do your part. That laugh from the mom when the kids are stomping the cockroaches is just pure psychotic nightmare fuel, right?
Definitely.
Just like so crazy.
So crazy. And again, is stomping these cockroaches helping? Are they going to grow into bigger bugs?
I don't think so. I think it's more of like the propaganda of it, of just killing all
just
bugs.
kill them all.
Even kids, like, go stomp on bugs in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Kill them all. Did you notice the people on the in the balcony in the background? When they were watching all this happen, they were like belly laughing, like holding their bellies, like, ha ha.
This is so funny.
Yeah, man, it was something else. I tell you what.
Stomping, like, okay, is this again? That's not Buenos Aires because that was just destroyed. So
Yep.
wherever that video is from, they have way too many cockroaches on their playground.
Yeah, for real. And those were real bugs. I don't know if that would fly with PETA today. What do you think that, like, I was kind of surprised that it was real bugs when I read about that scene, that it was real bugs. I was like, really? Can you really do that in a movie?
Maybe not anymore.
Maybe not anymore. It'd be CGI bugs, but everything's CGI now in every movie.
Right.
Countdown to victory deep in the quarantine zone. I love the cool transition where you're like watching the news program on the federal network, and then it changes to you being the camera, so you're in the action then. And we get a couple of, like, the reporter guy runs and he's like, oh, here's a couple of new cadets. Let's see what they have to say. And Diz wants to eat the bugs for lunch. That's absolutely hideous.
Yum. Like, I like her as an actress, but that was such a weak line for me. She comes over. She's supposed to be the first person to sound badass, and she's like, yum. Just so casual. Like, okay.
Yum. I want some bugs, please.
I want some bugs, please.
Of course, Aints. That's not a word.
Of course.
Ace wants to nuke the bugs, and the other dude wants to make sure he gets some action. You know, they never really say his name in the whole movie until he gets eaten in half in the invasion on Clendathu.
Yep.
Did you hear what his name is? What they call him?
Let's say it.
Kitten.
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 What? What?
Yes. And
Kitten.
I didn't catch his name over and over and over. And then finally, when I was like paying attention more in my last watch through with the subtitles on, came up to Rico screaming, "Kitten!"
Like, just kitten?
Yes.
Or kitten?
Kitten.
Like
kitten.
a kitten.
Yes. And
What
then
the hell?
we're going to get to him later, but Watkins, who was Gabriel,
Yep.
Raschik calls him Sugar when he gets the gun from him and takes out that dude.
Yeah.
He goes, "Sugar, give me your gun."
Mm,
Sugar and Kitten?
Yeah. Interesting.
Interesting names.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something, a holdover from the book that I don't understand.
Right.
I would assume that maybe that's what it is.
Maybe.
I don't understand why they have such lovable names. Sugar and Kitten.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Whatever. Do what you got to do.
Kitten.
The
And then right after that, Rico comes onto the camera and says, "I want to tell you something. I'm from Buenos Aires, and I say kill them all." It's just, that was another weak, he's such a badass character to this point, in my opinion. He could have said something way cooler.
Yeah, I will agree with you. The acting of all four of them in that scene was weird.
It was weird.
It was weird. It was plain old weird. But then the reporter dude says, some say the intrusion of humans into bug space has provoked them. Maybe we should just adopt a live and let live policy. It may be preferable to war with the bugs. And then Johnny ain't having it. Like,
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that still the media in this fascist society is still trying to play that little bit of a role
Yeah.
to give some alternate information to what the government is telling everybody.
Right.
It's really, really small. There's a couple instances of that in the movie, but it's just kind of interesting that they still tried to work that in a little bit. I don't know if that was a real thing in the Nazi propaganda machine in the 1940s, because I wasn't there, and I haven't seen anything to say that it would be, so I don't know.
Right.
But it's time for some tattoos, but not before Johnny and Carmen have a little reunion.
Oh.
Not that kind of reunion.
Whoa.
Some pretty cheesy stuff, ultimately.
It is, yeah.
And they're trying to make that love triangle between Xander, Rico, and Carmen a thing again, and nobody cares.
No.
I mean, really, did you care about that at all in this movie?
No.
It doesn't matter to the movie. It doesn't matter to the characters. It gives them the tiniest bit of depth, but the depth that they do have isn't dependent on their love triangle.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It just doesn't seem. It
And I
seems dumb
mean,
to me.
I obviously saw what was coming the whole
Oh,
time.
yeah.
I mean,
It's-
there's no way you don't.
No, it's broadcast from the beginning of the movie, right? It's broadcast.
So as soon as Carmen's like, later, I just knew it was going to happen. But yeah, there's no point even to try to rehash this.
Nope, just to get a little fight between the dudes,
Yeah,
which was cool. I did enjoy the punch that Xander gets right at the beginning, because he's like, what? He's not going to do anything. Punch.
And then he kicks the shit out of Rico. But it's really just like pounding his chest crazy, and elbows and fists. And then Rico gets one knee on him, and
one knee on
boom, he's bleeding, and Rico doesn't even look like he got his ass kicked.
Rico's the hero.
Yeah, that is true.
I do have to say, I watched that scene, a scene by scene, and either the they did something digitally, or the body double, stunt double for Rico looks exactly like him, but I'm pretty sure that Xander actually body slammed Rico onto that table.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that actually happened in real life. Which,
Yeah.
They're young dudes. I'm probably sure they were like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
And it is like an upward angle on the table, so it was probably padding on the table or something like that. But way to go, Casper Von Dien, or whatever your name is. I don't remember what it is. Casper. Yeah, Casper Van Dien. Man, Casper. That's just a bad name, dude. I'm sorry your name's Casper.
He had to turn out hot with that kind of name.
I guess he had to. That's all he had going for him. But finally, the group of four, I don't know what you'd call that, the quadsome. And I know what it is. It's a quartet.
It's a quartet.
That makes more sense. They finally get those tattoos, and they're laser tattoos because the future.
Yeah. How you get tattoos removed now is future of how you put them on.
Do you know anybody that's had tattoos removed via that?
Uh-uh.
Me neither. I've heard it's ultra painful.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Time for the invasion of Klendathu. They are the first wave.
Yep.
Lucky them.
Lucky them.
Good for the story that they're the first wave.
Yeah.
We get that cool, you kill anything with more than two legs. You get me? We get you, sir.
We get you, sir.
We get you, sir. We get you, sir. They seem pretty unconcerned about that plasma getting shot up into the atmosphere. considering it can take out their ships like instantly.
Yeah.
They're just like, it's supposed to be sporadic and light.
Yeah. Oh, there's one ship down. There's another.
big
Oh,
deal.
that was kind of close.
Well, we find out somebody made a mistake. A pretty big goddamn mistake.
God damn it.
Plasma is definitely a little bit more than sporadic and light. We get some cool fancy flying from Carmen. Love these sequences. She has to do it twice in the movie. It's really cool and exciting. I love that space stuff. Just was fun to watch. Pretty cool stuff too. Like the cockpit in that first scene, it gets hit by like something, right? And explodes, but we never really see what comes of that.
Right.
We never like...
At that point in the movie, I thought they died somehow. I was like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. And later, nothing.
Yeah, the ship's fine.
The
too.
ship is completely fine. Or they got into an identical ship.
Maybe. It was just kind of weird. Like... Because every time I would watch this movie, I thought this was the point where they were going to be going down to the planet, and it's not until the next invasion that they do on planet whatever planet that was. And I was like, oh wait, no, they're not doing it yet. And I was like, wait, what happened to the ship? They look like the bridge exploded, but everybody's fine. Okay, moving on.
Okay.
Boots on the ground time on Clendathu. The imagery of the drop ships full of soldiers running out to fight the bugs was supposed to be reminiscent of the landing on Normandy. That was like a purposeful thing from Verhoeven on this movie. The production value of all of this stuff is super duper A+. It looks so good. The sets look so expensive and so detailed. Absolutely love every bit of these scenes.
Yeah, and I don't know if picking it being nighttime worked out to their benefit, but it seems like it must.
I think so. Especially with those drop ships on the ground, because they're not like actual real ships. They were props. So I'm sure the darkness made it look a little bit better.
Yeah.
I did like that they even went through the fact that they shot those flares in the sky to illuminate the battlefield, which was cool, you know.
Right.
We get to see that cool nuking of the plasma bugs, which was... You'd think that they would just start firing those nukes all over the place. Just keep on firing them.
I thought that too.
Just keep on firing those nukes.
Fire it right away. Wow, that was really successful. All right, let's not do that again.
Never again. Not until the end of the movie, please. We get one of the first encounters with a bug, and it takes 5 soldiers to take it out. One of the like soldier bugs or whatever. It takes 5 soldiers to take it out, and like over the span of like a minute.
Yeah,
that's not good.
That is not good.
That's not good.
No,
seems like a death trap. Like this mission is not going to go well.
Exactly.
Has probably a pretty small percentage chance of succeeding.
Yeah.
Gruesome death after gruesome death, and Ace failing as a squad leader.
Yes.
What do I do? I don't know. Kill them all. Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, Johnny.
And then the next words are retreat. And this is at the point where we have finally made it back to the beginning minutes of the movie. This is where we get to see it. It's coming all together. So at this point, it's been a year since we first met everybody. So I guess everything goes past a year after this now. We get to see the camera guy, or we get to see the reporter get killed. We get to see that the camera guy just keeps on filming. He just keeps on filming. And maybe we get to see Rico die. Maybe. Right. We're not quite sure at this point yet. I mean, we kind of think he's dead, but we're not quite sure at this point. We get some more Federal Network action. 100,000 dead in an hour. Super gory imagery. Sky Marshal Denny's resigns for underestimating the bug response to the invasion. Sky Marshal Tahat Maru, that's the most Star Trekian name you could even choose, Tahat Maru, takes over. She's taking a little bit of a different approach. We must understand the bug to kill the bug. What a great approach, lady. Thanks. Would you like to know more? The bug, I love this argument about the bug intelligence between the two talking heads on this. Basically, they come down to the fact that the only way that bugs could be intelligent is if there's some sort of like hierarchy of brain bugs, which, turns out to be true.
Right.
And I do like how the one dude basically says like, and frankly, I find the idea of an intelligent bug like
offensive.
Just offensive.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I found the name of the ship. The Roger Young.
The Roger Young.
The Roger Young has made its way to the space station Ticonderoga.
Ticonderoga.
I wish I would have done some research on that name because I really enjoyed that word.
Yeah.
Ticonderoga. What a name! What a word! What a name! What a thing! You know. The rest of the fleet really isn't looking so great. They're all pretty much falling apart and looking pretty defeated at this point.
Yeah.
We get to see Carmen in the infirmary right away, and lots of dead soldiers, or injured soldiers, even though they even make the comment that there's hardly any injured because they don't take bugs, don't take prisoners.
Yeah.
She goes over and is going to go check out to see if Rico's still alive, and he's been killed in action. KIA. Oh my God, no, not Rico.
Not Rico. I love Rico. I used to love Rico.
But I don't really love Rico anymore, but I'm sad that he's dead.
Yeah.
He's not really dead, though.
He's not
in
dead.
Some green healing tub or something.
Which is badass.
It is
in my
really
opinion,
cool.
Obviously, you think of Dragon Ball Z with the frickin'... I forget what they call it in that, but it's like a hyperbaric chamber.
Hyperbolic chamber.
Well,
right?
no,
not the
no,
hyperbolic
yeah. Now
chamber.
I'm thinking the time chamber, but whatever the hell it is. But
yes,
they do that with Goku on Namek, and it takes 300 episodes for him to heal. But that's what makes me think of. And she's like, 3 more days, Johnny, and you're good to go. And then she kisses the tank, and he doesn't hate it. All of a sudden,
he doesn't hate it.
Now he kind of likes her a little bit. Maybe he's. After that last time I saw Carmen with Xander again, I don't even like her anymore. Even you're starting to look good, Diz.
I also liked that scene quite a bit, and the green fluid just reminded me of antifreeze. But I liked the close-up on the machine stitching his leg. It looked really good, just like all the other effects in this movie. It really held up.
Yeah.
It was very good looking.
Seriously.
I enjoyed that quite a bit. We finally get to meet the Roughnecks and Gabriel from The Walking Dead. His name's actually Watkins, but I will always think of him as Gabriel from The Walking Dead.
Obviously. And he is a twig in this movie.
He really is very skinny. He's pretty buff, actually.
He's buff for being as skinny as he is.
Agreed.
Sure.
Yeah, and he looks the same, but he also looks a lot younger,
Yeah.
25 years younger.
Yeah, and foreshadowing a little bit to one of the first scenes when he's walking around, he is holding a gun the size of him. And
Yes.
it made me think those guns must weigh like a pound.
Yes.
Because there's no way that's...
No.
It's just...
I was wondering that too, because they all have realistic like bolt action in their firing, and it's like ejecting cartridges and stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't recall now looking if they had muzzle flashes. They must have. But I don't know if that was digitally added later or if they actually had muzzle flashes. Because, blank ammunition is still dangerous.
Right.
You couldn't have 40 plus people with these prop guns firing blanks everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they were just like mechanically, like something moved that action to make it look like it was firing and just kicked out blank shells or cartridges or whatever you want to call them. I'm not a gun guy.
Yeah, same.
So, it was cool that they all looked realistic and they looked like they all functioned. I like that a lot. But you're right. That gun was enormous.
It was huge.
The scope was so humongous. It was kind of comical. And who's the lieutenant of the Roughnecks? The Roughnecks. I already did it. The Roughnecks. Johnny's old teacher, Mr. Razchek. How about that, huh? And he
That's pretty cool. You kind of get sucked into like, okay, these guys are badass.
Yeah.
Because they all defended the lieutenant right before that.
Yep. He saved my life.
Yeah, because what's his nuts? Busey, I forget what he says.
He says like I heard he's a real hard ass or something like that.
Something like that.
Rich.
Or he said like a cunt punch or something like that. I swear.
Sure. I don't remember that, but I hope it was.
I don't know. It was something like that. And then bam, she wails him, and then they all start defending him. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like,
he's a badass.
He saved my life. He saved my life. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I do remember thinking like, I don't think that's necessarily an insult to somebody like a lieutenant of a platoon or a company or whatever.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd want to be kind of portrayed as like a hard ass or something.
Right.
But still, he gets his ass kicked immediately by our ladies.
He does.
Way to go. Lieutenant Razchek only has one rule. Everyone fights. No one quits. You don't do your job and I'll shoot you. That's 2 rules, right?
Yeah, that's 2 rules. That was 2 rules, sir. Bam!
Told you I'd shoot you.
Yeah, they should have done that in the movie.
You get me? Sir, we get you, sir.
Sir, we get you, sir.
Welcome to the Roughnecks. Razchek's Roughnecks.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
It is very badass. You really cheer for these people, even though they're inherently evil.
Yeah.
They have a new battle plan. They're going to go clean out the outlying planets one at a time. The Roughnecks get to take on Tango Urilla. After the fleet glasses the planet, we get to go in and mop up. Sounds like a good plan. I don't know why they didn't do that to begin with.
Right.
Why don't you go in there with some air support if you have all of these spaceships that can go bomb the planet?
Yeah, seriously.
And on Tango Urilla, the fleet is doing just that. Some great VFX, once again, blowing up those bugs, and you almost have some sympathy for them when they're getting exploded. And that one bug, like, basically dies front and center on the camera, and it's like... you, like, almost have some sympathy for them.
Yeah.
Almost have some sympathy for them. With all those bugs on the surface taken out, it's time for the Roughnecks to go spread out and mop up, and you locate a bug hole, nuke it.
Nuke it.
Nuke it. And Ace is pumped to do it. Rico and crew find a bug hole, and they nuke it. Good job, guys. The flamethrower bug emerges from the ground. I think this is my favorite bug.
Yeah.
Of the movie.
For sure.
Like, I love the electrical current that it has going through its antennas to, like, ignite the stuff that it's spraying out. Is that stuff that it's spraying out the same stuff that ends up all over Johnny when it explodes?
I'm guessing.
So, but it's not acidic unless it's ignited.
Right.
I guess. But whatever. Rico does save the day, which we just kind of ruined by shooting a hole into the top of the bug, which... This is one instance where the CGI does not hold up.
Yeah.
Because he's standing on top of this bug just on his 2 feet, and the thing's like flailing all around, and there's no way he would have been able to stand up there, and it just didn't look that great. So
right.
That's all right.
But so much of the rest holds up so well that you're like, that's fine.
Yep, that's fine. I can just move past that.
That looks 90s.
Not a big
That's
deal.
Cool.
Yep,
and it's still cool.
It's still very cool. I mean, he shoots the hole in that bug, throws that grenade right in there, and it gets him promoted to corporal. Way to go, dude.
Yeah. And at first, again, having not seen this, I'm thinking, what the hell is he doing shooting so many times right there? And then, okay, that was pretty sick.
When he's finally laying on top of the bug and holding on to the hole,
Yeah.
like, he should have been like that almost immediately.
Right.
Or finding some other way to hold on to the bug and then shooting into the side of it to throw the bomb in that way.
Right.
I just had a hard time watching him stand on top of that bug because it just defied the laws of physics.
Exactly. Man, Rico's got balance.
He's got hella balance. You're my new corporal until you're dead or I find someone better. And Diz finally gets squad leader. So good for her. That's pretty cool. That's what she wanted. She's really looking forward to it. So that's a little bit of a win for her. It's time for a little R&R after the successful battle. And I expect the best and I give the best. Here's the beer.
Here's the beer.
Here's the entertainment.
It's 2 footballs, a couple soccer balls, and a green violin somehow Busey can just play amazingly.
So he is playing a violin earlier in the barracks when they're first. He is playing one earlier, but still, that's the only time he plays it. And is there anything more 90s than a neon green violin, electric violin?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
And I love it.
And yes, when I saw that thing in there, I forgot that it was in there. I was like, wow, that is A+. Way to go, guys.
And just like you've asked me, do you think Michelle Pfeiffer was doing her own stunts? And I said, probably not. Do you think he was playing the violin?
So I thought about that, and I want to say yes.
So do I, because I don't know how it works, but is that not one of the harder instruments to fake?
I would assume so, because it would just look bad, because the way he's pulling the bow across the strings, I am no violinist. I am no string instrument expert. But it seemed to go with the music.
It seemed to go with the music.
And he wasn't like overly fidgeting with his fingers, making it look like, oh, I'm trying to play the violin as an actor.
Right.
So I think he might know how to play the violin.
Which makes it way cooler.
Way cooler. Like, Verhoeven was like, hey, I heard that you know how to play the violin there, Busey. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I do. You want to put it in the movie? Sure.
Why not? But under one condition, it's got to be neon green. Check.
We can do that.
We can do that.
You want it neon purple? We'll go green. But
we'll go green.
Yeah, but you want purple? We got purple too.
Done.
And then finally Razchek goes, have fun. That's an order.
But sir, there's only 4 balls and like 100 of us.
Shut up.
That's what the beer's for.
Oh, boy. Everyone's getting down to that electric violin, and Diz does ask Rico to dance, and he shuts her down. I don't do that anymore.
Don't make me pull rank, bitch.
She's like, yes, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, and what happened from the hyperbaric chamber rejuvenation thing where he's like, I kind of liked that kiss, and now he's like, don't make me pull rank.
The only thing I can think of is because he was promoted to corporal. Maybe he's not supposed to do that stuff in the military hierarchy.
I've been corporal for like 30 minutes now.
Right. Like nobody would even probably care at all. So whatever, Rico, you're being a douche.
Right. And then as soon as like his boss is like, hey, I told you not to, or you wanted advice the one time, don't fuck up a good thing.
Yeah.
Basically. And then he's like, all right, that's all I needed.
Sure. And then he makes Watkins hold his beer. He goes, beer. Thanks. You don't ask nicely or anything.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, Watkins kind of just threw it on his chest, too.
True. Very true.
Which I thought was funny. But.
Very true. So, like we said, Johnny does not pass up that good thing and goes to dance with Diz. And maybe a little more. Wink, wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
What are you doing after the dance?
You, obviously.
There was definitely no rest and relaxation in that tent.
No.
So Diz and Johnny are trying to get busy at this point, and Diz is confessing her love for Johnny, and she goes, I love you, Johnny. And he's just like, He doesn't say anything.
Yeah, he's playing Carmen in this part. I love you. Tight lips.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. Don't take your pants off.
When anybody says I love you to somebody on a battlefield, that generally means they're going to die.
It does.
Almost every time.
Which I didn't see coming.
Nope, not one bit. Busted by Razchek, though. Rico, we're moving out. Report in 10 minutes. I guess make it 20.
Make it 20. And then they look at each other. We can do it.
Yeah, we can do it. We
can do it. Which, the guy is, of course, saying, we can do it. She's probably thinking, well, I hope so.
Yeah, you better. We get to go out on their newest mission on Planet P now, and they don't say that it's on a different planet until after we get off of this planet, and then they reference it as Planet P, which I wish they would have said something before they even got there, that they were going to a different planet, because it looked exactly the same as the last planet.
It did.
Whatever. We get down to Planet P. The communications officer gets picked up and taken away by a flying bug. Just gets skewered right through the chest there right away. Razchek puts one in his chest and kills him, and he said, I'd expect any one of you to do the same for me. And Rico makes acting sergeant, so he's just moving right up the ranks.
Moving right up. This is how Carmen moved up. now he's catching up. Like, bing, 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 bing.
He's like, so Lieutenant Razchek, who else is in front of me? Oh, that guy over there.
Yeah.
Can I have his spot now? I guess. You just killed him. They do make it to the outpost that they were trying to get to, and I don't necessarily recall them even saying that that's what they were trying to do when they got on the planet.
Right.
All of a sudden, they're just at this outpost. Did they mention it before they got there?
I don't remember it either.
I don't recall that either. Either way, they're at that outpost now, and everybody's dead. Turns out that the bugs came through a hole in the mess hall. Those dirty bugs came right in when they were having chow. And then we get the first real evidence of the brain bug.
Yeah.
It's a very nasty scene, but it's played for great comedy.
Yeah.
The way Razchek's like digging around in his head,
yeah.
like it becomes gruesome, and then you're like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. She's empty. Ugh. You know what that means.
No brain. No brain in there. We do hear some like banging in the background then, and it turns out that the general is hiding in a freezer.
Yeah.
And that's General Denines, right? Isn't that who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure because they never say his name in it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the same dude that resigned earlier. What a douche, I guess, for hiding in the...
What a douche.
What a douche. He had to evade capture, right? He's got sensitive knowledge.
Yes.
And then we find out the Roughnecks do discover at that point that it's a trap, because they find out that the brain bug made the dude at the communications counter call in the distress call that made them come there originally. So Razchek screams, "Prepare for an attack!" Do you like this fight, this battle scene that they do next, taking all those bugs on? Are you a fan of it?
It's one of my least awesome parts of the movie.
Yes. It's got some of the better deaths in it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I like when the douche we were just talking
Yes.
about gets the karma and
Yes.
dies, obviously.
It is the weakest of the 3 big fight scenes.
Correct.
Because it seems the most implausible. They should have
Yes.
been able to overrun that pretty quickly.
Yep.
But we do get to see, well, before we get to that, I want to say that it was funny when the general was like, just kill me, just shoot me, and Raschik's like, sure, okay, we're gonna just shoot you right in the face, I guess. And Johnny's like, whoa, he's not in his right mind, why don't you just hold off a second? Don't shoot him in the face yet. And then we get bugs, and then the battle begins. The best deaths in this for me are the general being clobbered, like you just said, which is the best ever. The tower dudes getting melted at the very end. That was pretty cool. And then the dude that gets the top of his head chopped off.
Yikes.
That one stuck with me a little bit. I was like, dang, that one, whoa. Diz finally gets that call out for a retrieval mission. I hope you can find a crazy pilot. Guess who that crazy pilot's going to be? Carmen.
No way.
Who else would it be?
No, we're never going to see each other again, I thought.
The compound is completely surrounded, and MI makes their final stand. Ammunition running low, and the rescue finally arrives. And Raschik gets his legs bitten off.
Yep.
And Rico puts one right in his chest. I feel like he probably could have lived through that, the missing of the legs, right? Rico, you know what to do. Try to save you and bring you with us? No, shoot me in the chest.
Yeah. No. Oh, I thought you were saying, like, why didn't he shoot him in the face? But it's because I don't know for sure that one shot in the chest would kill him as fast as it did.
True, very true.
Because it was right in the center. He didn't even aim for the heart or anything.
I was wondering that, too, when Raschik did take out that communications officer. Like, why didn't you shoot him in the head? Like, the chest shot may not have killed him right away. He probably suffered for a little bit on the ground.
Yeah.
But who knows?
But he seems to die right away, so I guess it
seems
worked.
to die right away. So you're right. It worked. And then right after that, Diz ends up getting skewered by another bug after blowing up that big firebug that's in there. I get it, she had to die, but why not die from the firebug or something like that? I guess you want that last scene with her, but still, it was kind of weird.
There should have been a little bit more time between that.
Yeah, I think
like
you're
you
right.
said, we should have seen that coming, that she's going to die, but I didn't somehow. So I was thinking how badass that was that she just did that and killed the bug, and then boom, dead. Right after that.
Dead.
No chance.
They do get her on that drop ship to evacuate her out, and she's like, Johnny, I'm dying. It was kind of weirdly acted, if you ask me, but that's okay. And she finally says her last words, right, are, it's all right. I got to have you.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, and he's secretly like, oh my God.
You guys didn't hear that, did you? That didn't actually happen. Once we get up to the spaceship with Xander and Carmen, Rico wants to turn the planet to glass. But there's other plans for Planet P, the brain bug. We get to see Dizzy's funeral, and once again, ultra Star Trek. Like, it made me think of Spock's death. He dies, and then he gets shot out into space. Like every other space movie, getting the coffin shot out into space. But it just made me think of Star Trek big time again with that.
Well, this was a good scene.
Yes.
Powerful scene.
It really is.
And I think Rico sounds like a good sergeant right here. Like, Bruce, Like, he just does it really good.
He does. He's really stepped into his role and really made it evident that he deserves to be where he is.
Yeah.
There's no mistake that he should be where he is.
Right, correct.
We get the return of the SS officer Carl. Like, it's just blatant SS, Nazi SS uniform that he's wearing. I don't know how people didn't, notice that when the movie came out, that this is blatant Nazi imagery.
Right, right.
Maybe people did notice it, but it wasn't so talked about because it was still kind of pre-internet a little bit. And this movie did really take off post-internet, being a cult hit and all. Turns out that Carl knew it was a trap, and he sent all those people to death anyways.
Yep, what a jackass.
We're in this for the species, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Okay, jeepers,
Okay, Carl.
The fact that it was a trap proves that the bugs have intelligence, so there must be a brain bug on P. And they're going back. Rico's the new lieutenant of the Roughnecks until he gets killed or Carl finds someone better.
Yeah.
So we're back on Planet P again, and Rico's in charge, and they're old men now. Rico gives the fresh meat the same speech he got when he joined the Roughnecks. Everyone fights, nobody quits. You don't do your job, I'll kill you myself. Welcome to the Roughnecks.
It's pretty sweet.
Yes. Rico's Roughnecks.
Rico's Roughneck.
So now we're going to go pay a visit to Bug City and look for that smart bug, a bug they have never seen before. So you don't really know what you're looking for at this point.
Right.
Although I would assume that Carl probably has some intelligence on what it should look like.
Yeah.
And maybe give that information to the people that are looking for it.
You would think.
But that's okay. That's okay. And the fact that, so they're going back to see it, and they also assume that the brain bug and the bugs know that they're coming back to see them anyways, coming back to try to capture them anyways.
Right.
The fleet in space is getting destroyed by the plasma shots at this point, and Carmen and Xander are navigating the plasma blast. Just as they are about to jump to warp to escape, they get destroyed by a plasma blast. At this point, it's for real. At least they really do get destroyed. With the ship exploding all around them, Xander and Carmen manage to escape via escape pod. They lost their captain, who looked a whole hell of a lot like Captain Janeway from Star Trek Voyager, by getting chopped in half by the door. That is rough.
That was rough.
Yikes, she's really going down with the ship this time.
Yep.
She's going down with the ship.
She's going down.
And then she finally says abandoned ship. I feel like that should have been said like an hour ago.
Yeah, definitely.
Rico gets word that the Roger Young went down, and they're just basically like, all right, time to move on, and Watkins wanted to go oh, no, that's not at this point yet. Rico does get word that the Roger Young went down. Carmen and Xander crash land near Rico, convenient, and his roughnecks, but it was well underground, and Johnny and Carmen make radio contact with each other, but the situation, Carmen says, extremely hostile.
Yeah.
Extremely hostile. Both Xander and Carmen are effectively captured by the bugs. Assuming that Xander and Carmen are dead, the Roughnecks continue on their mission. There was a little bit of a Watkins wanted to try to go find them, but then Rico was like, we know they're dead, so we're going to continue on with our mission. So,
yeah.
Cold-blooded, but I mean, that's the military life for you,
right.
I guess. Back with Xander and Carmen at this point, and the brain bug finally gets revealed to us. Pretty gruesome looking object.
Yeah. Disgusting.
Yes. At this point, the Roughnecks have traveled down into the cave system of Bug City, and they get to a fork in the cave. Rico gets a feeling. He just gets a feeling. And he takes 2 volunteers with him to go after Carmen and Xander. He just knows they're in that direction. He knows it. Well, help didn't come soon enough for Xander.
Nope.
He gets his brain sucked right out, but not before he passes that knife off to Carmen, though. So
yeah.
This is the point where the knife comes into play again.
Correct.
Someday, someone like me is going to kill you. That was grody for sure. It even had the suctioning sounds. And it seemed like Xander was presented as if he was alive a lot longer than he probably would have been during the brain sucking. Yes, but still, it made it more gruesome, made it more horror story-ish, horror film-ish. So it was still good. It was really cool. It was just gross. Now it's time for Carmen's turn with the old brain slurp. She gets to slice off that proboscis. Luckily for her, though, at this point, Johnny and crew show up with a nuke, preventing the bugs from killing Carmen. You know what this is, right? The brain bug is on full retreat at this point, and Roughnecks are forced to shoot themselves out of another bad situation. Watkins gets sliced, making him the sacrifice. Yep. So you need that always in these types of movies. And everyone escapes because of Watkins. You trying to be a hero, Watkins? I'm trying to kill some bugs, sir. And then they get out of there, and Ace, Rico, and Carmen outrun a nuclear explosion.
Yeah.
So, good job, guys.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. Okay.
All kidding aside, apparently the 3 of them outran an actual explosion in this scene. Like, there was an actual explosion behind them.
Yeah.
It was pumped up with VFX and stuff in post-production, but they had a one-take scene where something exploded behind them, and the 3 of them ran out of this cave.
Jeez.
So, I mean, way to go. Commitment to the bit.
Yeah.
And apparently, Carmen, what's her actual name? Denise Richards was told, if anybody falls, pick them up and keep going before the scene was shot. So,
right, because we only got one shot.
We only got one shot at this. So that's kind of cool. I'm sure they weren't in any type of real danger and explosion. They probably mean like a low yield, like movie set fireball or something.
Right,
that was
right.
obviously pumped up in post production. But we find out that the Federation has captured that brain bug at this point, and they get to ask, "What's it thinking, Colonel?" It's afraid. It's afraid.
It's afraid.
So Nazis.
Yeah.
Jeepers.
Creepers.
Oh, Carl, Carmen, and Rico at this point are reunited. And it was Carl that told Rico where to find Carmen via his mind powers.
Yep.
So
that's classified.
That's classified. So he couldn't do humans before, but now he can.
Now he can.
Now he can. You know, when it's the three of us together, I feel like things might just work out. I hope you're right, Carmen. We have one of their brains now. Pretty soon, we will know how they think, and then we'll know how to beat them. And then one day, this will all be over. Everyone will forget that this was the moment that when all of this turned. It wasn't the might of the fleet or a special weapon. It was a drill instructor that captured a brain. Way to go, Zim!
Super awesome.
Super awesome.
So cool.
What a great closure to that dude's story, because he has fucking rocked this movie from beginning to end. Every scene he's in, he's rocked it.
100%.
He deserves to have like the fawning world over him saying, you captured the bug, you're going to be a worldwide hero now.
Right.
Go down in history. Right? I mean, I can't imagine that. Carl says that they're going to forget it, but I can't imagine that they're going to forget that he captured.
There's no way.
I can't imagine. One more time with the Federal Network here. And what mysteries will the brain bug reveal? Once we understand the bug, we will defeat it. All those probes.
Yeah.
Just right in the mouth. And
right
things
in the
like,
mouth.
Things like, join up now. We have the ships. We have the weapons. We need the soldiers. Like Carmen, Ace, and Rico.
Yeah.
Come on, you apes. Do you want to live forever? Service guarantees citizenship. They'll keep fighting. And they'll win. Roll credits. Roll credits. Man, dude. What did you think?
It's a great movie.
Damn, dude.
It's really good. I'm super stoked that Jake suggested this. I've heard it referenced a bajillion times in other movies. I told Drew last week when we were recording that I think of Harold and Kumar 2 when NPH is doing mushrooms and gets stopped by the police officer, and he goes, I got 2 words for you. Starship fucking Troopers.
I forgot that was in the movie.
It's in the movie. And so, that. I don't know, I went into this for whatever reason not thinking that I wouldn't like the movie, but thinking it was going to be more of a joke. And while it is a joke, I don't know, I just like it. It's got that perfect, like, cheesiness to it, but the action is still really good. I love anything in space, like I've said before. They're all really good actors. And side note, one of the first things I thought about Johnny Rico's, he would probably be a good Batman. Just his facial structure again.
Dang. Casper Van Dien, Batman. I like it.
That's a good-looking Bruce Wayne, and he's got the facial structure for when he's in the suit. But I don't know why I always think of that, but we started with Batman, so a lot of it goes back to Batman. But yeah, the movie is great. It's really good. Like I said, I watched it on YouTube TV, and then I bought it right away. So what did you think, Drew?
It's a movie that I have seen 2 or 3 times before we did it for the podcast, and it's a movie that I hadn't seen in many, many years. And I'm really glad to have revisited it. So thanks a lot, Jacob, for making us revisit this movie when we did. I'm sure we would have gotten to it at some point. Mm-hmm. But I absolutely love this movie. These militaristic, like sci-fi fantasy films, they hit all my buttons. You know, and the fact that it is a little goofy, it's a little wacky, it's weird, it's satiristic, it's funny. Like, it hits all my buttons. What I want out of a movie like this. The cheesiness isn't played out. It's not dumb. It's cheesy, and you like it.
Right.
It's just a great movie from beginning to end. It's 2 hours and 9 minutes. It doesn't ever feel like 2 hours and 9 minutes. No, it doesn't. There's no downtime in it. There's no like, well, we can do without this segment. We don't need this whole half an hour of a movie. You know, it all feels needed. It all feels worth your time.
Yep.
And it feels like a movie that if you go back and watch it in 20 years from now, it's still going to hold up.
Agreed.
It's still going to play on those things that we talked about with fascism, and it's still going to play on the nostalgia for what it was like to have a big budget 90s action movie.
Right.
Because they're a beast unto themselves, you know, those 90s action movies.
Yep.
This really kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of almost the top of the mountain. It takes all of those things and puts them all together and really presents it in a really awesome and fun package.
Right.
Really love this movie from beginning to end.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so really, really good. I hate to leave this movie behind, but it's time to move on to our homework assignment.
I know.
Man, it's always a treat when a movie is this fun to talk about.
Agreed.
And we've only done 25 episodes, and this movie is in that top 5 range.
Oh, for sure.
Top 5
100%
range.
not quite ready to put it on the heels of Top Gun experience for me. But this was a really good one. It's everything Mars Attacks wasn't.
Yes. And you know what? We didn't even mention that. It's such an interesting juxtaposition between these two movies because it was aliens invading Earth, and now it's Earthlings invading alien planets.
Right.
We've had these happy coincidences, and I love that we've had these happy
Absolutely
coincidences.
love it. And instead of just having no chance against the aliens, like in Mars Attacks, we're on the offensive in this one. And like we said, it's bugs, and everyone hates bugs.
Everybody hates bugs.
So fuck the bugs.
Fuck the bugs. We were the assholes in this one. But that homework assignment that we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a single episode of Salute Your Shorts.
Nice.
Were you a fan of Salute Your Shorts, Trav?
Obviously.
It was one of my favorite Nickelodeon live action shows for sure. It definitely blew the socks off of Hey Dude.
Oh, yeah. Hey Dude stood no chance
No
to Salute Your Shorts.
Salute Your Shorts. The episode we are going to be doing is the first episode of Season 1 called The First Day. So I'm sure you can infer that means it's their first day at summer camp, since that's what this show revolves around. It was released June 1st, 1991. It was created by Steve Slavkin. It's based on Salute Your Shorts, Life at Summer Camp by Steve Slavkin and Thomas Hill. It's starring Kirk Bailey, who was Ugg, and Ugg went on to do a bunch of stuff, like he voice acted in Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, he appeared on Star Trek Voyager and in NYPD Blue. We got Megan Berwick, and we got Michael Bauer, who was Donkey Lips. He did some TV after Salute Your Shorts, and he was in X-Files. He did a lot of video game stuff, too, after Salute Your Shorts. Like, he is in Red Dead Redemption as the local population. So that's kind of interesting. He also had some voice acting in GTA 4 and Star Wars The Old Republic.
Ooh, one of my favorites ever.
I need to play that game. Danny Crooksey, who is Bobby Budnick, an extensive filmography. You recognize that guy.
Obviously.
Anybody from the 90s would recognize him. He was in Terminator 2 and did also a ton of other TV work. An actress named Venus de Milo. I feel really bad for her for being named after a classical sculpture, but I guess if your last name's de Milo, you might as well name your daughter Venus. Right?
I
guess. Tim Esther, who played Sponge, and he hasn't done much since Salute Your Shorts, and he was the character I probably identified with the most with Sponge in this show. Heidi Lucas and Eric MacArthur also had Blake Salper. It was narrated by Steve Slavkin. The number of seasons is 2. The number of episodes is 26 total episodes across 2 seasons. It was produced in Los Angeles, California, and you can find it on Paramount Plus. You cannot find a physical copy of this show anywhere.
So weird.
Does not exist. So, find it on Paramount Plus. I didn't look, but I'm sure there are episodes on YouTube also.
Probably.
On Paramount Plus, unfortunately, because Paramount Plus is weird with Nickelodeon stuff, only 12 of the 26 episodes over the 2 seasons are available on Paramount Plus.
So weird.
And it's not even like, you know, half of the season, like a block of episodes. Like it has episode 1, 4, 6. You know, it's like
random.
Just very, very random. So it's going to be a quick hitting episode since we're only doing one 22-minute child show. You know what I mean? But
yeah, right.
It's going to be fun to relive it, and so we're going to probably come with maybe a little bit of different things for that show when we record it. So I'm excited to do that one, Trav, and it's going to be fun to do.
Agreed.
Why don't you hit me with those emails?
Sure thing. Before we get to those emails, though, I just want to say, being the 25th episode, I'd like to say I'm super appreciative that we have gotten this far and that you asked me about a year ago to do this in the first place.
Well, just to talk on that, I don't know who else I would have asked to do this because it means, I mean, I could have asked a whole bunch of different people to ask, but you were like the perfect person to do this podcast with. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you.
I couldn't have done this show without you, honestly.
It's been a lot of fun. It's brought us closer.
Yeah.
It's brought me closer to other people we work with. So shout out Jesse, Ryan, Ben, Jake, anyone who's been listening, Rob, James that talks to us about it. It's awesome. Jake from Triple Falls, Grum, all the guys at Triple Falls, anyone suggesting stuff. It's got this whole new place of nostalgia in my head.
Yeah.
Like, this stuff is obviously already super nostalgic, but a lot of this stuff we've done I haven't seen, so
Mhm.
it's somehow binging it so many times makes it seem like I've seen it a
Yeah.
long time ago now. And this is random, but the new Flash trailer, I know you're not supposed to talk about current things, but they're bringing Michael Keaton back as Batman. And I could have watched that trailer a year ago if that had came out and thought absolutely nothing of it. Like, this is not Batman. But my heart was racing seeing him come back and say, I'm Batman. It's pretty damn cool.
You told me off of this podcast that you love Christian Bale's Batman still, but
Right. Now I default to Michael Keaton as who I think of as Batman. Isn't that weird?
I mean, he's Batman.
He's Batman. I saw some interview recently with Danny DeVito where he just said Michael Keaton is Batman. And they tried to say, well, what about Blotto? He said, no, Michael Keaton is Batman.
Michael Keaton is Batman.
And now I think that, too.
Michael Keaton
It's
is
crazy. But, yeah, I just wanted to say this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to keep doing it for another 2,500 250 episodes.
Whatever it is. And I'm excited to keep doing it too. And I'm glad that you still have a passion for it because I still have a passion for it. So.
Fuck yeah, since this is explicit.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. But yeah, let's get into some of these emails.
Right.
So, first one isn't so much an email, but I wrote it down that Jake from Triple Falls has another homework suggestion for us. And it is the movie Species. He says he just rewatched it, and it's peak 90s everything.
Well, I've really been enjoying these explicit episodes, so another rated R movie. I'm down.
I'm down. Let's do it. And does this one have Sigourney Weaver?
No.
No, because
That's
she's
Alien.
an alien.
Yeah, that's Alien.
But
and
I
Aliens.
feel like I've seen Species, but I can't remember for sure. So.
You would recognize the actress.
Okay.
I can't remember her name, but you would recognize her.
Sure. Is there anything in the movie where they're like in the sewers?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe
I
so.
think I've seen this, but that's another one of those. Haven't seen it in forever, so it should be awesome. So our next email here comes from Jake, and he says, as an avid listener to Overdone Steak Podcast, I am absolutely livid that you made fun of the best worst movie I've rewatched as an adult. I cannot believe the staff at Over Easy Egg Incorporation would have the audacity to mock such an amazingly, awfully thought out and in-depth movie such as Mars Attacks. Sincerely yours, Jake.
Well, Jake, you're a son of a bitch.
You're a son of a bitch. I don't care what you think. All right? But anyway, he says, laugh all out. Just kidding. I picked it because it was one of those movies that seemed scary and good as a child, but when I rewatched it as an adult, I realized how actually bad it was. And speaking of Terminator as a movie, I thought you would have brought back any of those movies you have not already queued up. I would love to hear Drew make Arnold voices for an hour. You and me both, Jake. You and me.
See what I could do.
I can't wait for the next Arnold movie for you. But he did hit us with one more here, too. And he says, if you could become any character from a superhero movie in the 80s and 90s, who would it be? But they do not have to have superpowers to be a hero, just saying. And if this has already been done, just skip it. But it has not been. So what do you got, Drew?
So I'm privy to these emails, too, as you are, and the listener emails before we get to recording. And I took that email as any hero in any movie, not necessarily a superhero movie per se.
Right.
Okay, so I jotted down a couple quick ones that I thought of right off the top of my head. RoboCop. He's kind of a superhero.
Yeah.
But he's a total badass. He eats baby food, which is a downfall. I don't want to eat baby food. And he did get shot in the groin. I don't want to do that either.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So minus that stuff.
Minus that stuff, RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Also, like Flash Gordon. That'd be really cool. Have you ever seen that movie, Flash Gordon?
I have not, but I've heard of Flash Gordon.
Queen does the whole soundtrack. Flash, ha! He'll save every one of us.
Save every one of us.
It's good. It's so bad it's good. It's so bad it's good. Marty McFly. That'd be a really cool. He's kind of a superhero, right?
Yeah.
That'd be cool to be Marty McFly.
Yeah.
Minus the making out with your mom stuff. I don't want to do that. But
No,
those are the ones that I thought of right away. So I think that would be pretty cool.
Nice. I like it. So I did go the superhero route. So the first thing I think of is Blade because I'm privy to wanting to be badass at martial arts.
Ooh.
So, I mean, it'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
But then it comes with the whole I'm a vampire and I got to drink blood type sitch.
Well, you're a daywalker, though.
I'm a daywalker, but he still has to drink the serum or whatever.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need blood, but he needs something. If he doesn't have the serum, he needs blood. I don't want blood. So I went with Batman, motherfuckers. I always love Batman. So, yeah, I got 4 Batmans to choose from. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Keaton's Batman.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Clooney.
I thought about it. Keaton's Batman.
Clooney does grind dinosaurs, though.
Clooney does grind dinosaurs.
That sounds really dirty.
There was apparently a rumor that Clooney was going to come back as Batman for James Gunn wants to do a new Batman now that Ben Affleck will have his last Batman role in this Flash movie. But he said no, absolutely not. Clooney didn't say no. James Gunn said absolutely not.
Really?
Yeah. So it's going to be someone we have no idea who he is, apparently. Not Robert Pattinson.
With all this multiverse stuff, I can't believe Clooney hasn't come back.
I know.
I feel like at this point, if he was asked, he would do it.
Don't you think it couldn't get any worse?
No.
If anything, he would look way more badass somehow.
Right. Or you have to lean directly into it and make it the worst thing possible.
Yeah.
Which I would be fine for.
100%.
Because that's what you like about that movie. Is that
true.
It is that bad. So,
right.
Yeah.
That's very true. So next email comes from Retro is the besto. Wants to know if there's anything either of us are collecting currently or even have been collecting for a long time.
Well, I collect. I haven't bought one in a while because the market's incredibly expensive for anything new. Not new, anything that's cool, but NES games, Super Nintendo games, and stuff. I still try to buy that stuff. I'm still trying to pick up as many VHS as I can if you can find some decently priced ones, because even those are becoming expensive.
Right.
I never thought I'd see the day where I'd start seeing $2.50, $3 VHS tapes. Used to go to Goodwill and it'd be like a penny.
Right, yeah.
For 20. You
right.
know what I mean?
And it's at least like 4 for $1 usually or something.
But one thing that I did start collecting during the pandemic and have been continuing on from then is unopened booster packs of Pokemon cards.
Nice.
I've just been buying them and putting them in a shoebox.
What in the hell and how did I not know this?
I've just been buying. I don't open them. I've just been buying them and putting them in a shoebox.
Just like random packs, or are you like looking up what's hot sellers or anything? Or
I just go to Target, and if they have some, I grab 4 or 5 and buy them and put them in a shoebox.
That's super cool. And you're just gonna like sit on them to wait to see if they go up more, or one day you're gonna be like, boom, live feed Overdue Homework. We're opening a shit ton of Pokemon cards.
I mean, maybe. I don't really know what my plan is. I'm just going to start buying these. They're $4.50 a piece. Like, it's not that much of an investment, honestly, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. I didn't really buy a lot as a kid. I haven't opened up any of them. Evie likes to buy them with me. Like, we'll go to Target and she'll be like, let's get some Pokemon cards. I'm like, sure. And I'll let her hold on to them, and then she gets bored with them and put them in the cart, and then she never sees them again.
Nice.
So I'll put them in a shoebox.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, I started doing that recently for reasons, I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily think I'm going to be a millionaire off of them or anything like that. Right. I just feel like sometimes you just need to buy stuff.
For sure.
I don't know, man. Pokemon cards.
I absolutely love it. So, yeah, I put down Funko Pops. So I collect specifically Dragon Ball Z Funko Pops that have a store-exclusive sticker on them.
Cool.
So I have a shit ton.
Yeah, you do.
We're talking like 90-ish to 100, including the singles. The 6-inch, the 12-inch ones. I got a couple 18-inch ones, and then the 2-packs and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's got to say, like, entertainment exclusive on it or Hot Topic exclusive. Otherwise, but that leaves it open for Lauren to be able to get me Funkos because she can get me the common ones
Yes.
But also Pokemon cards.
Nice.
I put kind of because I collected them as a kid, and now I'm collecting certain sets.
Cool.
Like I went hard. Same thing. The pandemic. I actually found Leonhardt, who opens Pokemon cards on a YouTube channel, and he got me re-hooked on Pokemon. So I went hard for the celebration set, the 25th anniversary. Got the complete master set. No one wants to talk about how much money that costs to do, but I have a lot of other sealed packs and loose booster packs from going so hard on that were left over that I did not open. So literally, if there is anybody who is remotely interested in watching us open Pokemon cards, I would love that. And
we should do it, man.
And we have a lot of damn cards, so it'd be fun. So if you're interested, email us, overduehomeworkpodcast@gmail.com. And the other one I put on here, I put movies. Because, I mean, you said that too. Like, I'm not collecting VHSs. I love your VHS collection here that's next to us. But Blu-rays alone, I counted yesterday for this, I have 292.
Dang.
And that's not including TV shows or anything else. So if I was to include DVDs and TV shows of Blu-rays and DVD, I'm well over 500.
Man.
So I got a lot.
You got a lot,
But
dude.
I have condensed a lot. I used to have a lot more crap movies, and I kind of went through and cycled through a lot to make room for good movies recently.
You know, I didn't say that. I should have said that because of this podcast. I've been buying a lot of the movies that we've been doing and adding them to my collection. So movies too for me.
Yep. Yeah, the only thing so far we've done that I do not own in retrospect is Cable Guy.
Oh.
I rented that for this one. But next question is the last question, and it is a question for Drew. Did you like sports jerseys as a kid? And if so, what was your favorite to wear? And did you have multiples that you liked?
So this is a bit of a sore subject.
I just opened up a can of worms.
I had no sports jerseys growing up. I was told they were a waste of money.
What?
Never had a sports jersey.
Tom. Unbelievable.
I'm pretty sure Tom would have probably bought them for me, but Roberta was like, no.
Roberta, come on.
She also said I couldn't get a starter jacket because they weren't warm enough.
What? Roberta?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I thought for sure you were going to have some like diamond in the rough hockey jersey you were going to tell me about or something.
Nope. I now have a Wild jersey. I also have a Harrison Smith jersey.
Nice.
And an Adrian Peterson jersey. He's a really good player, but he beats his children, so I don't like that.
He beats his children.
And I'm not a fan of that.
So that sucks.
And those are the only two jerseys I have. I have a couple other just like random hockey jerseys from like playing on men's league stuff, but nothing cool. But
for sure.
Yeah, didn't have those growing up, Trav.
Bummer. I had a lot.
That's awesome, man.
Was like when I first got into football, I wasn't a diehard Vikings fan. I got in more so because I was addicted to Madden with my friends. So I was like a player fan as opposed to a team fan. So I had a lot. Like Michael Vick was my favorite jersey that I wore. Atlanta had sick jerseys back then.
Michael Vick, that's too bad.
Another bad one.
Hey,
yes, another bad one. But then basketball. Holy crap! Did I have a lot of basketball jerseys? KG, obviously, and Allen Iverson. I had a sick All-Star jersey from him, and it was like the thing when I was a kid. I feel like everyone had to have jerseys.
It was a thing, and I was not a part of it.
It was kind of a waste of money. I mean, especially when you're a kid because you're going to outgrow it.
Yes.
But now, I've got not a lot of jerseys, but I got LeBron on lockdown and AP, of course, like we said, and I've got my Adam Thielen jersey. But I definitely need to get a Justin Jefferson jersey.
Yeah, man, you should.
For sure.
You should. He is the future of the NFL, man.
Yeah, he is. A little worried that he says he's going for the highest contract that's not a quarterback contract in NFL history, but moving on.
Pay the man. Pay the man.
Offensive Player of the Year, baby.
Pay the man. Soon to be Super Bowl MVP. I'm calling it.
Yeah. Oh, man. I wish we had Pat Mahomes on our team. But anyway, moving on. That wraps up emails. Thank you guys so much for listening, and thanks again to Jake at Triple Falls for the awesome suggestion. Anyone else that wants to suggest stuff to us, it's super easy. All you have to do is email us at overduehomeworkpodcast@gmail.com. You suggest it, and we will cover it. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Overdue Homework Podcast for regular updates. And as always, make sure you tune in to the next exciting episode of the Overdue Homework Podcast.